The Area Cup Series traverses a smattering of some of NASCAR's best tracks over a 17-race season. But after opening rounds in Daytona Beach and Fort Worth, Texas, the field heads to Long Pond, Pennsylvania. And perhaps there's no more fitting track to head for round 3 of the season. It's Pocono. 3 corners, 3 straights, round 3. It just makes sense. What doesn't make sense, though, is where corner 4 has gone, for those who are looking for it. Hi, everybody. Kyle Heyer, joined by Finney DeCuna and Hunter Sleppy for the 3rd round of the Area Cup Series season. And this time, Finney, we head to the Tricky Triangle.
Yeah, it's going to be tricky indeed, especially with another full field of cars. Again, we're going to have to be sending some drivers home here before the race even starts. And it's a very competitive grid up near the front. A lot of new names, drivers that were performing well last season, also performing well this week. And again, those newer drivers compete against the old breed, the veterans of this series. It's going to be interesting to see how they tackle the Tricky Triangle.
Yeah, but expect to see the faces of Jake Nichols, Jake Matheson up at the top of the speed charts once again in the practice session. Also be on the lookout for Jackson Anderson. Hopefully this time around he can make the field, as last week he was also top 10 in practice but failed to make the show, Kyle. So going to be interesting seeing who goes home and who moves on in the Long Pond State.
Yeah, not quite as many eliminations this week as last, but this is a fast racetrack, and there's a couple new dynamics, of course, with this next-gen car on this 2.5-mile racetrack, Finian, and shifting is a big one. They shifted before with the 4-speed gearboxes, but now it's a tool almost every driver is going to have to employ in this race tonight.
Yeah, that's again something these drivers really got to get used to. If they haven't already, they really got to get on top of that and nail that, because that can easily make or break a lap. And also later on, depending on how the cautions play out, how the race strategy plays out, might come into a little bit of fuel saving.
Oh boy, I don't even want to think about fuel saving after watching yesterday's Brickyard race. That just confused my mind so much. But it could be a possibility, because the first race here, season 1, we went caution free. Season 2, we had about a 45-lap stretch of green flag racing to the end, so we might see some fuel saving here. Last time we were here for season 4 ended in overtime, so that was won by James Skiley. So maybe we see the 7th return to victory lane here in Pocono.
Yeah, it's 2.5-mile racetrack. We'll do 80 revolutions of it tonight. And of course, 14-degree banking in turn 1, 8 degrees in turn 2, and 6 degrees in turn 3. It gets progressively more challenging as you go on, but if that tunnel turn in particular, turn number 2, Fidian, it's got a big bump in the center of it. We see a lot of trouble over there in that tricky tunnel turn.
Yeah, I've seen these guys be a little bit on the looser side of things with the setup, the way it's performing tonight. So I think that's something they definitely have to keep an eye out for. When the car gets unsettled, that's when you start to get, you drift a little bit more on that back end. It starts to slide out front of you. You see a lot of drivers, they overcorrect and end up hitting the wall pretty much wherever the camera is. So hopefully they got an easy drivers drifting out of the turn right there on the camera as well.
I also don't want to get too low through that part of the track, because we saw it a couple weeks ago in real life cup racing. You clip that apron that's there on the turn 2 side of the racetrack. You clip that, and then it kind of gets your car all out of shape and whatnot. So that's also something to keep an eye on for. And yeah, like you mentioned, Kyle, these 3 corners here, 3 very distinct corners, all different, none are the same. Well, then there's the trouble right there. Someone just careened into the inside wall hard.
This is a place that'll bite. I mean, it's got a reconfiguration a couple of years ago, and the walls have been moved in some places just to prevent drivers gaining momentum to head towards the inside walls in places, but even the outside walls. You're carrying so much speed here in these corners. You also have to slow down so much. You're just doing nearly 200 off into turn number 1. This is a challenging proposition here. And for 80 laps, this could go green all the way, or it could be a very messy one. We've seen a lot of yellows here in the past as well.
Yeah, I've seen both sides of it. It's either usually a fairly clean race, or like you mentioned, a cluster. It's a lot of cautions back to back to back. And again, with a bigger field, it might lean a little bit more towards it being a little bit messy with so many cars on the racetrack. And this is definitely going to be one of those tracks where if you can nail it, if you can get into a rhythm, if you know how to drive this track, you'll really perform well. There'll be a big skill gap, I think, between some of the drivers that are really good up at the top end and drivers not so much near the back.
Yeah, this usually happens towards the beginning of the season anyways. Last week at Texas, we had 8 yellows, and throughout the history of Pocono, like I mentioned, season 1, we went caution-free. Season 2, we had 3 yellows, and then the last time we were here for season 4, 14 cautions in this race.
I remember that, I think. That race in particular.
We want to be somewhere in the middle where we don't want to have too little and not have too many. Like 14, that's just way too much. But Only time will tell, Kyle.
I don't remember that. Maybe I blocked that out in my brain. But 14 yellows at Pocono. Gosh, that sounds torturous. But 80 laps on the board here tonight. Practice is complete. And Finian, qualifying has been so critical so far this season because of the eliminations. We've got 47 drivers here, 43 spots on the racetrack. How do you get around this racetrack? Where are you going to try to find some time?
I think really the best place to try to find some time is turn 3. It's such a long corner, and you feel almost any way you take it, it's probably wrong in some way. If you can really nail that corner and, focus on getting the exit, less so than the entry, especially with this next-gen car, because there's such a bigger focus on carrying momentum through the corners. If you can nail that, you can definitely make up a lot of time. You can also lose a lot of time, and also, again, the wall out of turn 3. We've seen so many drivers year after year slap that wall during the race, and you definitely don't want to do it in qualifying.
I can't say that I have. Looking at Michael Curry.
I've gone on a family trip.
I went to a water park with my friend Joel back in 2012.
Was it Camelback?
I don't remember, but it was close to Pocono. We actually saw the back straightaway wall. That was as close as we could get. It was middle of winter. It wasn't very exciting, but. And appreciate the congratulations from Michael Curran. I just got back at around 12:30 today from Virginia International Raceway and calling some races for Fanatec GT World Challenge America. And as I told these guys earlier, learned more in 48 hours than I have in 5 years. It was just an unbelievable experience to work alongside Calvin Fish and Amanda Busick. And there was a lot thrown at us that weekend. Of course, the whole CrowdStrike news, and that broke. The CEO was probably a couple hundred yards from where I was sleeping, so he took a Good Morning America call from the racetrack and then had to boogie out of there pretty quick for obvious reasons. But yeah, pretty dramatic weekend for sure. But with all that out of the way, let's head down to the racetrack for qualifying. Bailey Turner in the 25 up onto the backstretch.
He's up there trying to get a lap time in there, rocketing down the straightaway and then heading towards turn 2. And I think turn 2, especially with these qualifying laps, we talked about drivers, hitting the bump in the corner, the car being loose through here. This is where I think some drivers are going to make or break their lap. Just by getting loose or hitting the wall, because once you get that lap done, you're done, especially if you're an open driver. It's a night over for you.
Yeah, interesting here as he's going through turn 3. He's not going all the way low, going to just leave maybe a lane or two above. We kind of saw that in the real race a couple weeks ago, but they were a little more higher in that one. But I would expect to see some of these guys be a little more closer towards that inside of the turn.
Lap times coming across the board. Seth Knoll at the top right now. Bailey Turner goes second quick. JT Poole across the start-finish line. And we'll see who else can go up into the mix here. Dom DeLeo on track right now as well. Connor Horn goes second quick. Then Drew Jua goes P2 very briefly.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of performance out of him. Not necessarily in turn 1 this time by, but for most of the race he's done well. He's done well at Super Speedways, did really well at Texas. He's looking to do well here at Pocono. Look at Jake Matheson coming out in the 54, coming out of turn 2, heading towards turn number 3.
Yeah, I just realized this is his first trip here in the Cup Series, because last season was his rookie season, if you want to call it that. At least in area, it's a rookie season, but never been in the area Cup race at this track. Let's see what his time is.
And it's 53.713, which is going to put him at the top by over a tenth and a half. That's a big chunk of time over everybody else so far. See if anyone can respond to it. Travis Beckner is coming around, I think, to kick off his lap here shortly.
Yeah, I was trying to look and see where Jackson Anderson ended up at. He ended up in 21st. Really interesting how he's been really good when it comes to the setting times in practice, but the qualifying's not exactly been there for the 83, so keep you updated and see if he makes the show for this race. As Travis Beckner rounds out of turn 3, I almost said turn 4 there for a second. Caught myself. Coming out of turn 3 across the start-finish line for the 20. Where does he end up? Was it a quick lap? Was it a slow lap?
I think that's
just
starting lap. Never mind.
Going through the first turn here, modeled after Trend Speedway, which that has a characteristic of its own when it was still here. A turn on the backstretch, a right-hand turn on the backstretch, that is. Very odd, Kyle.
Yeah, super unique racetrack, and all three of these corners modeled after different circuits. Down here into turn 2, 8 degrees of banking here. Modeled after Indianapolis, and then this final corner. In Milwaukee, this last turn?
Yep, Milwaukee.
Yes.
Up onto the front stretch again, and you're your way up through the gears here, all the way out to the wall, and Travis Beckner focused. See what he can do. Across the stripe for Beckner, it's a 53.874. That's a pretty good lap. Should put up P4, and it does.
Yes.
It's all lap for him. Matthew Bell also came across not too long ago. He ended up in 9th in the 8 car. Ryan Hartz, he comes across the start-finish line, and he'll end up second. A very solid run for the 3, especially after the first 2 rounds of the season, not necessarily going the best of ways for him.
Yeah, that's a delightful sight to see. Somewhat of a, I shouldn't say somewhat of a home race, but from the New England area, that is a little bit closer to him.
Interestingly, we had about 4 or 5 drivers not qualify. Payne, Newbegin, Bondurant, Max Service, Emerson, Arden.
Yeah, that doesn't look like for lack of trying, though, for most of them. Looks like they all attempted but weren't able to execute.
That's unfortunate. But again, this is a challenging racetrack. There are so many places to make a mistake, and usually it's on corner exit because the straightaways are so long. You feel like you have to have a big commitment, Finian. And if you get that commitment even a little wrong, you hit the wall so fast. I mean, it's rare that you come away from a wreck here without any significant damage, although here in iRacing you can kind of get away with maybe a little bit more than you otherwise would.
Yeah, it's either two things. You hit the gas early and you drift closer to the wall than you think, and then it's too late for you to make a correction, or you try to make too much of a correction, putting too much wheel into it, and then the back end of the car comes around. It's usually the 2 types of wreck you see, especially out of turns 2 and 3. Turn 1 also has its own unique characteristics, especially with the banking, and usually on the restarts when everyone's flying in there almost 3, 4, sometimes even 5 wide, some people try.
Yeah, don't want to see an incident like Kyle Busch, Corey LaJoie going into turn 1. Don't want to see any of that this time around. Although towards the end of the race, all bets are off, Kyle.
Yeah, fresh wounds there for that. Thanks for reminding me about that. But I think at times, we've seen these restarts be messy as well, and it's just the racetrack. You could land an airplane on the front straightaway. It's so long and so big and so inviting. But when you get down to turn 1, that's a shallow corner entry, Finian, and as we've seen in the past, even recently in the real world, it can get you into big trouble.
Oh, very much can get you into big trouble here. So as we wait and warm up here, waiting for the grid to be finalized, and it looks like we're getting a list. And I'm assuming that's drivers that didn't make it.
Yes. Oh, there we go. So looks like Nathan Jump, Jacob Bell, Robert Colgan, and Jake Emery are the ones that did not make the show.
It's unfortunate. Again, we're getting to the point now. I mean, we're still 3 rounds in, still sending drivers home, which I guess is a good thing in some instances, but bad in others. But, I mean, it shows how strong the series is. It's just unfortunate, Finian, that their seasons have not or will not have more points accumulated after this qualifying session.
Yeah, especially Jake Bell. He's definitely not a slow driver usually. You see him, punch above his weight a couple races, but he's not necessarily been the best in the qualifying department, it seems. And especially as one of the admins for the series, it just comes to show just how much the level of competition that's stepped up to the plate here and performing. So there's a lot of competition, especially up near the top part of the field. And of course, with Jake Matheson, Ryan Hartz, I'm really interested in seeing what he can do in the number 3 for this race. After his last 2 finishes, he finished 32nd at Texas and 41st at Daytona. So he's definitely going to be hoping for a significantly better run to really kind of get him back into the points fight for the season.
Yeah, Daytona was the heartbreaker because that was internet related, and he had been working so hard on just making sure his internet's been stable just so he can make it through a full race. And it was towards the end where it went amiss for the 3 of Hart's, at least internet-wise. So hopefully this time around it's going to be good. He's on the front row, and this could be a start to something new and something special.
Look at the 83, Jackson Anderson, Finian. Pretty good week for him last week.
Yeah, and well, it wasn't a good week for him last week. He didn't make the show last week. Was strong in practice, but didn't execute in qualifying. This week was able to make it on through to qualifying and was looking quick in practice, so I expect race pace-wise.
Who'd you say won the Florida State Pillars Pro Series race?
Groner.
Groner,
yeah,
not Jackson Anderson. Got those 2 conversations mixed up?
Yeah, I was gonna say. I think we were talking back to back. I was like, I don't really think he did well.
Well, he had a great week last week because he got the night off, I guess is what we'll say.
Yes.
Now look at the weather, guys. It's fairly warm on the track temp, but the air temp's cool, 67 degrees. That's about as cool as we've seen it so far this season. Of course, we were racing at Daytona and Texas prior, not the Northeast, so Curious to see if the track tempo is going to stay in the double digits, or if we might see it climb above 100 like it was in practice.
I bet that these drivers definitely wanted to stay in the double digits and not go up because, like I mentioned, so much load on some of these corners, especially the flatter corners like turn 3. You're going to be relying a lot on the tires. If you get track gets a little bit more slick, it's going to be a lot. As you can see right there, one driver sliding out and heading into the pits. So the cooler it is, the easier it'll be for these drivers to really push these cars on the corner exit.
You know what? That's going to be a major concern, too. That was Cameron Hearn. Not only just corner exit, but especially coming through the front stretch here. That pit wall got extended a few years back after, this was 2015. Jeb Burton and Casey Kane had identical spins, and they crashed into the inside wall, the pit wall, that is. So they had to extend the middle barrier out just a few feet so cars don't crash into pit road. And ironically, a couple years ago, Jeb Burton hit that inside wall and flipped over. So that could be an issue where someone might hit the attenuator of that barrier as we look at Landon Cardolo, one of many drivers with our onboards tonight.
Yeah, we've got a handful of onboards, Vinny, and we get to get an inside look at different drivers' rigs, and Cardolo's joining us with an onboard. I don't believe we've had his before. Of course, those other drivers that are joining us with onboards tonight, here is Brett Puncari. That's giving us a good look inside his virtual reality simulator. Of course, Michael Curhan we checked in on earlier. Ricky Springer, who's a regular here. We already saw Travis Beckner as well. JT Poole is joining us once more with Ricky Bobby in the corner there. He seems to move around quite a bit. Peyton Howell is going to give us an onboard again with the blue LEDs in the background. And Jake Matheson.
For his pants, at least.
Well, he's gone. And then
Get a breath of fresh air before this one.
Yeah. Connor Horn will be the last driver there on our onboard cameras as the warm-up time is complete. We'll head down to the racetrack here in just a moment and get things kicked off. Race fans, be sure to subscribe to the Area iRacing Twitch channel. As a subscriber, you'll have Area iRacing emotes to use in the chat, and you can earn double channel points that you can use to redeem for free merchandise for just $5 a month. Join today at twitch.tv/Area iRacing. We're going to head down to the racetrack and get things kicked off as far as the starting grid here in just a moment. But, of course, this season, our starting grid partner is Central Mobile Homes. Looking for a smaller, large home, a new shed, or a Triple Crown trailer? Look no further than Central Mobile Homes. They've been proudly serving Florida customers for 28 years with a plethora of small and large home floor plans, shed designs, and Triple Crown trailers. Available in LaBelle, Okeechobee, Clewiston, and Sebring. Head to centralmobilehomesinc.com to get started today. And with that, our starting lineup, let's kick things off fitting with the front row. It's Jake Matheson in the 54 and Ryan Hart's with a strong effort. He'll roll off in second.
Yeah, very strong first row, and second row also looking good. Michael Curran, defending series champion, in third place in the 24. Next to Matthew Morton, number 18, in fourth.
In fifth place, it is going to be Travis Beckner in the number 28 Chevrolet Camaro, and Connor Okresic to his outside in the number 15 car, who will start in sixth.
Moving on back to seventh place, we find Seth Knoll, winner of the Area 500 this season. Then moving on to next to him, eighth place, Ricky Springer in the 51.
Ninth place, Blaze McKinney in the number 87 Chevrolet Camaro, and Drew Jua, a strong start to his season as far as his pace is concerned. He'll roll off in 10th in the number 13.
Moving on back to Matthew Bell, he's lined up in 11th in the 8 car. Next to him, Connor Horn in the 42, lined up in 12th.
Strong qualifying effort there for the 42. Jake Nichols, 13th quick in the 73 in qualifying. His Toyota Camry rolls off in row 7 alongside Greg Mitchell's Ford Mustang in the number 2.
Back in 15th place, you find Adam Cabot in the 07. Next to him, it's going to be Cameron Hearn, lined up in the 4 in 16th.
17th place, Trey Eitzen in the 78 Toyota Camry. Edward Scherer Jr. rolls off 18th in the number 17 Ford Mustang.
Going off in 19th is going to be 77 of Seth Berger. Next to him, JT Poole, lined up in the 14 car in 20th.
21st place, it's going to be Nick Silver in the number 99. Of course, you got Horn rolling to the back there. Reese Schaefer rolls off 22nd in the 97.
Moving on back to 23rd, it's going to be Bailey Turner in the 25 car. Next to him, Peyton Howell, lined up in the 52 and 24th.
25th place is Brett Puncari in the number 35 car. Philip Bronner, recent winner of the Florida State Builders Pro Series, rolls off 26th in the number 11.
Jackson Anderson's going to rolling off in 27th in the 83 car. Next to him, Ed Robertson, lined up in the 64 and 28th.
29th place, Brad Slaughter Jr. in the 88. Then Tyler Nichols starts 30th in the 41.
Moving on back to 31st, to be Ryan Swan in 20, and next to him, Jeremy Miller in the 30 and 32nd.
33rd place is David Weishart. Alongside him will be Mason Kane in the 31.
And next in 35th, we find James Shamwolf in the 75 car. Next to him, Nathan Jump in the 29.
Jump was one of the DNQ drivers, and I think we'll have a few more from here on out, but DeLeo and Bell sharing row 19. Garrett Grant and Landon Cardullo in row number 20. Robert Colgan was another, and Jacob Emery were also DNQs in this race, as was Jacob Bell, I mentioned a little earlier. Andrew Payne and Newbeging will finish off the tail of the field here with Justin Bondurant and Max Service towards the rear as well. Fast pace car here at Pocono, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
We're already on to...
Yeah, they might have to extend this another lap because there are guys still coming out of the pits, I think.
Yeah, they're still making 150 miles an hour all the way around. But while we've got a moment, let's revisit our championship standings for our commentators. And Finney and I made up some ground after I had a pretty disastrous first round and got 51 points to your 94. Hunter's got 75. Well, quickly pick me a winner.
Michael Curran.
Sky Elite.
And I'm going to take Seth Knoll. Here we go. Green flag, and we're underway in the Area Cup Series, round 3 from the Tricky Triangle. Turn 2, car on the wall hard, and that is Carson Arden in the 57. He'll stay straight, will stay green, but he hit the wall hard out of the tunnel turn there, Finian.
Yeah, a lot of heavy damage to the right front of that car. I wouldn't be surprised he has to come to the pits, and he actually does have to come to the pits to get that car repaired. It's an unfortunate start to his day. Meanwhile, up at the front, a gang of cars all vying for the lead. Ryan Hart's currently leading the charge into turn 1. Got Michael Curran there on the outside. Jake Matheson, last week's winner, on the inside.
Curran trying to complete the pass on Matheson for that second spot. You saw there, and he'll do it again. Use the snake method, trying to break up the draft. Saw that yesterday in the Brickyard. Saw it today here at Pocono. We'll see it a lot more as they head in the tunnel turn.
A little shifting and shuffling back here as well. Some side-by-side to the tunnel turn. The exit of this turn so tricky, as we saw a lap ago. So far, so good. Curhan in the 24, pulls up into second place. Big run coming here, and it's all going to be that kind of the dragon down the front straightaway, left to right to right to left, to try to break that draft. But Finian, sometimes that can slow you down more than it speeds you up.
Oh, it definitely does, especially because cars are so big and cumbersome, and then again have the aerodynamic properties of a refrigerator. So you really lose a lot of momentum breaking out and getting into some of that clean air when you're trying to snake down and follow everyone, but you lose that momentum, so you're kind of better off just kind of staying in your line and not necessarily snake all the way. See a couple guys get very close to the wall off of turn 1.
Yeah, I think that was Seth Nolan, the one there, again, a little bit close to that wall, and Curran still trying to navigate around the 3 of Hearts. There's Matheson peeking to the inside of Morton in the 18. A lot of single file action up front, but towards the back, Jake Nichols with a handful side by side with Matthew Bell. He's
dropped a couple spots since the start of this race, so he's going backwards, and Philip Bronner in the number 11 has come forward about 6 spots. Well, side by side here, leaving turn 3. It's tight quarters on the front stretch here as well. I think one of the cars is at 83. Jackson Anderson just clipped the wall out of turn 3 as well.
Oh, caution. Ryan Swan spun around in the back. And it looks like he saved it, and might have been the only car involved.
Let us have a look. First yell of the night, lap 4. Kind of running middle groove here out of turn 3. Oh, the 07, a Cabot, I think it's going to drift. He just turns into him there, doesn't he? That was weird.
Yeah, I was hearing on the radio, Cabot apologized. He said he's on a different computer, and his FOV is not how it normally is. I think he just misjudged it there. Was trying to get a bit of a side draft and misjudged how close he was.
Unfortunate there, the beginning of the race for Swan and Cabot. Swan taking some damage on the driver's side, still a little early, but go back on lap 1, see how this incident occurred.
Yeah, 42 and 57. Connor Hormus had a place to go, didn't he? Gosh.
Well, I mean, Connor got another EOL this week, so I think he was trying to see if he can make up some time anytime he could. Here's what happened here.
57's moving from the second lane down to the bottom, and 42, the amount of speed just not there.
This is the initial start as well. And I don't know if the field was entirely bunched.
No, there were a few cars behind us that were still not with the main pack.
Connor Horn included. He's already see the light's green. How far back he is, and there's still 3 cars behind him.
Yeah, and I think at that point, he was just trying to see if he can make up as much time as possible.
But he will get the free pass, the 57 will at least. Went a lap down after coming to pit lane to fix that car and spent about 53 seconds in the pit box, so he might have gotten some of that damage fixed.
Yeah, well, if he didn't get it fixed, he'll have a decent amount of time to fix it this caution because of the long pace laps here at Pocono. Also, so glad that they added the one less lap of pacing. Remember before they added that?
Oh, yeah.
The short cautions.
Oh my gosh.
Very long
It was brutal.
cautions.
If you had a yellow here, it'd be like, oh, all right, what are we going to do for the next 20 minutes?
And the pace car's hauling, too, about 75 miles an hour.
Yeah, I can confirm as a member that lives in the state of Pennsylvania, Pennsylvanians do drive very fast and are almost in a hurry to go absolutely nowhere.
Looks like Cameron Hearn's going to...
Yeah, a couple people coming down pit lane. A lot of people near the back.
Oh,
this down.
This is a fuel play. This is a fuel play. They're going to try and split this in half from what I'm guessing here, because this is 75 to go. Try to split it in half, maybe around 36 to 37 laps on a tank of fuel.
So I guess my question would be, they must be banking on this race going green, because I would imagine we're going to get another yellow or two with the big field here. And how racy you have to be. I don't know that I would count on it being a one-stop race. I think you're going to have more opportunities than that. But who knows? These next-gen tires seem to wear like iron and keep the tires underneath you. Who knows? You could stay out and try to break it into two stints from here.
Yeah, I guess the thing is you never quite know. It's still early on in the race. Things could, shuffle out. Everyone kind of spreads out, gets into their own groove. So I think that's what some of these drivers near the back are betting on. I guess they figured, oh, since they're near the back, what more do they really have to lose?
I thought we were going one to go this time by. I was about to say, these guys got to get a move on, but no, though, I should be one to go this time by.
So Reinhardt has the lead over Michael Curran, Matthew Morton, Jake Matheson, and Ricky Springer. Those are your top 5 at the moment. Matheson, again, pretty strong racer, and basically anything he climbs into. He's got the Slinger Racing graphics on the side there. He already looks enthused, doesn't he?
I mean, listen, the cautions, even though they got rid of that extra pace slot, the cautions around here are pretty long and fairly boring for the drivers. Be running around here at 50 miles an hour instead of 200. Oh, look at that, Mom, no hands for a second.
It's good to readjust and take a sip of that. I was going to say water. That's Red Bull, I think.
Whatever he's got down there. Lights are out on the pace car. Next time by, we'll turn him loose. Man, I said the other day, or just, I even said it right when we kicked off here, that I was on a headset about 28 hours ago and had PTSD from saying lights are out on the pace car. We had 5 yellows in the Fanatec GT race on Saturday in a 90-minute race. There's only 14 cars, so it was
bottom split.
Well, 3 of the yellows were caused by the same car. There was a Corvette with an ABS failure, and it just kept braking. So, but I mean, 5 yellows is a lot. I don't think I've ever seen a Fanatec GT race with 5 yellows, and that Toyota GR Super Safety car's got its lights turned off. Here we go.
Hope be the last time.
Oh, man. Well, as we come into this event, of course, sitting here after a couple of rounds, and Seth Knoll won back at Daytona. He's leading the championship right now. Am I looking at the right standings? Yes.
Yeah.
Just making sure. Douglas Newbegin is second place, by the way.
Yeah.
Really got that Lucky Ducks 71 in position. Where is he right now on track? 29th. So he's got some work to do if he'd like to keep that going.
I was going to say, well, I think if he can make it up near by the end of this race, start maybe calling him the closer for this season, because he's been always there near the end where it matters to pick up those points.
He was amongst the 20 or so cars that came down pit road and topped off on the fuel.
Well, time to get back to restarting here. Ryan Hartz, Michael Curhan, Matthew Morton, Jake Matheson side by side here. At Pocono, we're back underway in the Area Cup Series. Whoa, everybody,
the 25 of Turner's around, 70 Payne I think is around. Oh boy.
Cars are getting sideswiped left and right as the yellow comes out again.
What happened?
I mean, it all happened. Shane Wolf is in it. Wow. All right, let's see what happened there. So, the 25 was the first car that I saw spun, but I have to go look from high above here. Dude, check up on the outside lane, and it just keeps getting worse. And then the 25 just kind of swerves, so that kind of triggers this whole thing. There's a couple different genesis points of this, I think. 77 of Seth Berger. He checks up, moves to the left. Turner slams on his brakes and swings to the right. That gets him sideways. And then watch the 70, kind of right hand of your screen. He's also going to have his own slip. 75 of Shane Wolf gets caught up there in the background as well. So it was all just kind of everyone scattering after that initial spin from the 25. Who was that on the... That's Max Service.
Yeah.
He had quite the view of this, I think. There's 25 way up the road. He just kind of loses it on his own.
Yeah, he got some contact on his right rear. Trying to see who he came in contact with. Or the 75 of James Shane Wolf that checked up him into the wall.
Oh, Shane Wolf just got absolutely obliterated there.
Yeah, that's a hip check if I've ever seen one.
That's going to be a lot of damage, I think, too. Wow, he might have been okay, too.
Yeah, just nowhere to go for Shane Wolf, just minding his own business. But that's what happens when you have a racetrack as wide, or as a front stretch as wide as Pocono, where cars can just come careening out of control left and right.
So second caution of the night on the restart. We'll try this again here in a few minutes. But this is all good for those people.
What was that about you talking about PTSD from seeing the lights around the pace car?
Yeah, I mean... A lot of yellows. We had some big wrecks at VIR too. That we were under yellow for a while in the GT America race, which is the bronze-rated series in the SRO. They have to race. They don't really get a choice to delay anything because just like a Grid Life event or an SCCA event, the races must go on. They don't have unlimited time. And it was downpouring, absolute deluge. And they just put the cars on the racetrack and put them behind the safety car and burned about 35, well, maybe it was... Well, that's 25 minutes of their 40-minute race. Mm-hmm. And so we got a start single file with 15 minutes to go. So, yeah, there was a lot. The safety car got a lot of laps this weekend. We'll say that
Safety
much.
car win?
It did actually win a couple races.
Ah.
It did lead the most laps in the GT America race also.
There you go.
But no, it was a fun time. And again, Calvin Fish. I was telling these guys earlier, we were chatting about one of the drivers who had finished second effectively the entire season. And Alvin joked that in the 1980s he ran second a lot to some young Brazilian kid running in the up-and-coming Formula ranks in the UK. And I asked him who that Brazilian kid was. He goes, oh, I can't remember. That Brazilian kid he was referring to was the late Ayrton Senna. So just a really cool moment. The sly smile on his face when he said, oh, I can't remember what his name was. But just an unbelievable experience. Then right back to it, and then got shows tomorrow, and then on Friday, well, of course, Thursday, Finian will be taking the reins for Florida State Builders Pro Series Round 2. I'll be at Road America this weekend with Grid Life competition on Friday and Saturday, so lots going on. And then on Monday, we'll be right back again here, so it never stops.
The grind.
You signed up for it.
I sure did. I mean, there are worse things I could be doing.
There are many worse things.
I mean, you are in Chicago after all.
It's true. It is true.
Oh, are we going another lap? The lights are back on the pace car.
Looks like it. Can you cancel a lap, an extra lap, Finian? Can you shut them off right now?
I didn't see. I didn't even see a command. That was kind of weird. Because normally I can see when the admins extend a lap. There was no such command, so I don't know.
Interesting.
Like it'll say like, "Oh, admin has extended a caution for the pace lap for one more lap." It's Ghost, apparently.
Let's have a look at the best laps of those so far. Left-hand side of your screen. Ryan Hart's at a 53.820. Matthew Morton, though, a little quicker, and Jake Matheson quicker still. There's some 53.7s in there. 53.6 by Mitchell. So there are some quick cars out there, quicker than the leaders.
Getting update from race control. The 57 was slow on the track. He's actually slow on the inside of turn 1, I think, because he had a yield for everyone to pass him and be a lap down. So that actually caused iRacing to extend the caution one lap.
There's the one to green this time. Person's going to rejoin. Still a lap down. Bailey Turner is also a lap down now with the 25. Andrew Payne was able to stay on the lead lap, but just... That was like something out of the movie Cars right there, pulling out ahead of the angry old pace car. I never understood why he was so angry about that.
I know, it's just funny. It's always funny to me how angry he is.
Anti-racing pace car.
Tell you what, before we go green, I want to highlight you for Ryan Hart's first laps he's led all season.
Really?
Yep. Didn't lead anything at Daytona or Texas.
Wasn't he right up front at Texas, too?
He was near the front. I don't think he ever got to the front.
No, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So,
Bailey Turner did not need to be involved in that incident. His best finish of the season so far, 26th at Texas, and he was caught up in some shenanigans there as well. So each start this season, he's been caught up in something.
yeah, and he was running much better than that in both races so far. So, yeah, to your point, Hunter, he really doesn't need to have things go wrong for him anymore. And then also for, Jake Nichols and David Weishart and James Scioli, they're all drivers that have past wins here at this racetrack. We have a Weishart tonight.
I believe I saw him
yes,
somewhere.
he was the fastest in
29th.
practice.
Oh, there he is. So Ryan Hartz is in command. The pace car is going to pull off and make the left-hand turn onto pit lane, and we're going to be back underway at the tricky triangle. Try this again. All the shifting and shuffling on the restarts. Here we go. Much tidier to start it this time. Cameron Hearn in the middle of a three-wide scenario down there at turn 1.
We're trying to make up some moves. That's could be very dangerous trying to throw it in the middle 3 wide, especially on a restart, but we'll keep it clean. Ryan Hart's trying to get out of the way, get drivers out of the way, prevent him from falling as he leads off into turn 2. Curran, Matheson, and then it's Springer and Morton fighting out for 4th.
Oh boy, some guys bobbing and weaving back there. Beckner, that was Travis Beckner in the 28 machine, almost going for a trip to the inside wall there.
Yeah, Beckner on a mission. Move forward in that number 28. Look at him working the wheel. Look how focused he is at the moment. It's always fun to check the onboards here and see what things are like inside the cockpit.
The man on a mission trying to make it to the front. Whoa, and actually had Drew just coming to the inside. He had to back out of it. As Drew actually makes some contact with JT, Poole, and Nichols. They're 3 wide off the corner and down the back straightaway.
The battles never stop here at Pocono, no matter where you're at. Poole in the middle and Drew onto the inside, and Jake Nichols on the outside, trying to scoot away from all this madness.
Matthew Bell on the outside in the tunnel turn. That's tight between the 17 and the 11. And Jula's going to try to go up the inside here at turn 3.
Trying to keep that car nice and down in the bottom. Typically we're seeing a lot of the drivers in the front running down there. Take a look a little further back, Philip Groner in behind. Matthew Bell and Drew Jua. Just with Trey Edson as well, as he's dropping down a little bit. Looks like he's backing out as Anderson and Schaefer are taking advantage on the outside.
It's one of the many things about Pocono with these long straightaways. If you get out of the line and you don't have anyone behind you, sort of like Daytona and Talladega to a certain extent, but if you don't have anyone behind you, you're just in that line where no one's going with you, nothing's going your way, you're losing positions left and right. So that's why we see a lot of single file movement and a lot of cars just staying near the outside wall unless you have a big enough run to the inside where you can make that pass.
Michael Curran putting some pressure here on Ryan Hartz, entering turn 3, pretty low on the track. Hart's able to get down to the apex just fine, and pretty good launch onto the straightaway. Curran real tight to the fence out of turn 3.
Yeah, trying to get as much of a run as he can, and then heading down the front straightaway here. Now starts to pull in just a little bit on Hartz, but not quite enough there to make a move before turn 1. But that 24 is starting to put pressure on the back of Ryan Hartz.
Trying to apply it bit by bit as we get longer into the run. Almost clip the wall there. Always interesting seeing some of these guys exit turn 1. I think someone smacked the wall back there. Can't tell who, but always interesting to see how wide they take their exits as Nichols looks to the inside of Greg Mitchell entering the top 10.
Jake Nichols in the 73.
My gosh, sorry, Ed Sheeran Jr., the 17, had a wiggly moment off turn 2.
I think a lot of drivers really pushing the turn 1 exit wall. Be nervous about that when the tires start to burn off, if drivers are going to find themselves in trouble with that fence and bounce off it in a bad way.
Yeah, I gotta imagine some concern there, especially with how much they're pushing. Some of these drivers trying to get to the front. While the tires are still good, of course, you are going to have to save them a little bit. We joke of how resilient the tires on the next gen are, but I think if even a track like here will push them beyond their almost indestructible limits, as it seems. Philip Groner in the background, seeing him making moves. It's really Edward Scherer Jr. that's actually trying to make moves on the 11. Winner at Texas last week.
Whoa, car out of the line there. Is that the 57 slow again? Just ahead of this
might have been. I was just about to say they were catching a lap car, but I couldn't tell if it was the 57 or Bailey Turner, but it looks like it was the 57 into the outside wall.
Yeah, really sketchy, slow quarters racing there. Up onto the front straightaway. I'm pretty comfortable right now with the cat hanging out with me after I've been gone for 5 days.
The cat looks more comfortable than you.
Well, I have to lean this way so he won't slide off. Ryan Hart's doing a nice job defending the lead right now. Lap 18 of 80, clicking him down. That 24 is inching closer, though, bit by bit.
Yeah, I almost wonder if Ryan Hartz maybe might be pushing himself a little bit too hard. Of course, he's the one really setting the pace. I think a lot of the drivers in behind are just kind of along for the ride. I think they figured make any moves now are just kind of burning up your stuff for later in the run. And the big thing to know, too, is that pretty much the entire top 20 has yet to come down pit lane.
Spin, turn 2.
Was that Morton?
That was a white car spinning to the back.
Justin Monderon.
Still green. But yeah, like you mentioned, Finian, a lot of these guys have yet to pit, mostly inside the top 20, as we almost had a third incident to bring out the caution.
Yeah, this is just all by himself, just gets on the apron.
Oh, and actually just ahead of him, there was another incident simultaneously going on. Peyton Howell, he made contact with Dom DeLeo in the 22.
Here's that one.
Oh, they're checking up with the 57. You see Dom DeLeo go lower. Howell and DeLeo hitting it all hard, especially DeLeo. He went flying the inside wall.
Yeah, that's a big hit. That might be it for DeLeo, actually, unfortunately.
I don't see a meatball flag, so he's allowed to keep going out there, but he's down in the pits, I think, getting repairs.
Got to be a fourth of the way done next time around. Hart still leading the way with Curran, Matheson, Morton, and Springer inside the top 5. Blaze McKinney was battling for that at one point. It's fallen down to 7th. Whoa, man, some of these guys are getting really comfortable with their exits.
And you just have to stay so committed. If you back out of the throttle, you're going to get just blown by on the straightaways. You lift even for a minute, it's game over.
Ooh, Jake Nichols getting really tight quarters with Travis Beckner off of turn 1. They were side by side down the front straightaway with Nichols getting a great run out of turn 3, but with that longer run on the outside of turn 1, Beckner is able to secure the spot. As you look up there for a second, they'll juke for position. Get to turn 2.
Yeah, a lot of this is playing out somewhat similar to the Brickyard yesterday. A lot of single file action. Some of these guys possibly saving a little bit of fuel, although mostly just trying to log in laps as we're about to be a fourth of the way done. Matheson sitting in 3rd right now has a good view of the front 2 as the stake method continues its way down Long Pond straightaway.
Yeah, I don't know that anyone's got enough of an advantage to make a pass just yet, but as this race goes on and things start to spread out, you get a bit more desperate when you do get those opportunities. Conor Kresic on the outside here, Blaze McKinney, that's a tough place to maintain overlap as we've seen before. Denny Hamlin, Kyle Larson, anybody?
Yeah, and actually behind them, Jake Nichols, he was side by side with Beckner, reverse order into turn 1. Nichols managed to just squeeze Beckner out of a hole. Beckner was not that close to the wall. Nichols took opportunity and squeezed himself between Beckner and the wall and entering turn 1 and got the spot. So that outside in turn 1 definitely seems the place to be as Nichols and Kresic were able to take advantage.
I'm glad you mentioned it, Kyle. Barry Larson asked what he did yesterday to win the Brickyard as Connor Horn trying to do something similar.
Lead.
Oh, and battling for the lead.
24 and the 3.
Oh, and he's got help. It's Matheson giving a shove to the inside. So new leader Michael Curran on lap 22.
They do nothing for 15 laps, and then you just pull the camera away for 2 seconds. And there he goes. But he's wide, and that might open the door for Matheson, and maybe Hartz can respond on the backstretch here.
Yeah, 24 got a great run out of turn 3. That's what led up to that. Now Ryan Hart's trying to see if he can attack back. Got the 54 to deal with. He looks like he's going to give him a shove at the moment. He can't count out Matthew Morton. He's been quiet in that 18 just outside the picture.
So Hart's falling down to 3rd. Matheson and Curran on the move up. Morton still holding his own in 4th. Springer in 5th as well. As here's another look at this.
That's how it began. Watch the 54 kind of run that high lane here, and it's going to build that momentum. The 24 gets the overlap on exit, and then I don't think he would have completed the pass with if it wasn't for this big shove here that really gave him all the energy he needed to get it done. Ricky Springer's up in the mix as well, the 51.
Yeah, he's also been unusually quiet, that 51 car, and now it looks like he's decided to take his opportunity to attack. Got past the 18 of Matthew Morton, now trying to deal with Ryan Hartz just ahead of him.
A good look at the camera and on board there for Ricky Springer, moving up on over to 4th. Passing Matthew Morton and Seth Knoll moving up as well. So loud places being shuffled inside the top 10, and here comes Matheson, another dive to the inside. These guys starting to get a little more comfortable with their lines through 3. No turn 4 at this place, but Nichols there you saw in the back was still trying to make that 3rd lane work as now he's getting around Blaze McKinney there on the outside for 8th.
Yeah, saw a big wiggle out of the 24 in the tunnel turn. Look at the one of Knoll going the long way around here at turn 1, and look at the momentum it's going to build him here. You can start to use that upper lane. There's enough banking there to get a big launch, and look at the momentum it builds.
Yeah, I mentioned before, this car is very big on getting momentum out of the corners, and we saw right there with Seth Knoll showing how to use that momentum to his advantage, and he will just barely get clear. Oh, he's going to try to slam the door shut in front of Springer, almost turn himself off the nose of the 51 into the wall. They're still side by side entering turn 3. Springer going to take the outside. The long way around, I don't quite know if it's that effective considering how flat turn 3 is. Oh, slams the door shut. They both go into the wall.
Action unfolding in front of Jake Nichols as he continues to move closer towards the front of the pack. A lot more aggressive racing here as we're getting a little bit longer into this run.
Yeah, that Noel got, I think he cleared the 51 or tried to clear him, and Ricky just kept the throttle down right here. Got him turned into the outside wall.
Yeah, relatively minor contact, all things considering. That one's going to continue marching onwards.
Travis Beckner on the outside of Greg Mitchell through tunnel turn Finian.
Yeah, side by side for both of them. And the interesting thing, I see Drew Chua make a move in the background as well. I'm not sure if he was losing, trying to make a pass. I think might have been a mixture of both. We mentioned before some cars getting loose in the tunnel turn. I noticed some drivers near the back almost wrecking. So I think the tires, that's starting to be a little bit more of a concern on the corner exit. It's something these guys got to consider, especially if they're going to be pretty much all going to try to push the halfway to make it on one stop.
And to the inside, looking for third, that podium spot, it's Seth Knoll. So Hart's going to try and maybe cross over, but can't quite. He's going to leave the door open for Connor Okresic to move up. And right behind him is the 73 of Jake Nichols, continuing to move up closer towards that top 5.
Yeah, the 3's fading backwards at this time. I might have just burned up his stuff too much leading this event. And Okresic in that 15 quietly inching his way forward. Started 6th, he's running in 5th, but he might have...
Whoa! Moment right behind them, right around Matthew Bell. That was one car to the inside. Jackson Anderson, the open car, nearly taking a tumble to the inside wall.
Got into it there with JT Poole a bit, and then, whoa, big wiggle. Caught it, but that was close.
Yeah, I think you're going to have to watch yourself making those kind of moves, making those sudden change of positions on the corner exit. The car is just not quite able to do what it could at the beginning of the run. As you look at Nichols and Okresic side by side, big run for Nichols on the back straightaway, as well as Springer taking that outside lane. Look at the freight train and the difference of speed. Okresic can't do really anything except watch. Up near the front, though, Jake Matheson just made a move on Michael Curran.
The new leader of the race, the 54, is taken over on lap 27, but Curran going to give a little shove to Matheson heading into 3. Not going to make a move to the inside, so all things settled there for now as caution's out on the racetrack.
Oh, Jeremy Miller made contact with Garrett Grant out of turn 2.
Yeah, these two guys have both had issues this year, and not always their fault. Ow. Yeah. Ow. Ow. All right, you're done.
You're fired.
He's got his nail dug into my shoulder. I can't play the replay. Let's go back and have a look at what happened to Garrett Grant here. Got to go back a little further to find the cause of it. And he's on the outside of the 30. And Miller just tracks up into him, and they're both into the wall. That's a big hit for both of them.
Yeah, I guess he was either A, expecting Grant to go a little bit higher up the track, or him to get a little bit more loose, but yet he just could not end up getting into the left rear, and around they both went.
Oh, it's a rough way to possibly end the night for Jeremy Miller and Area's Ironman Garrett Grant.
Yeah, and actually I heard on the radio for Jeremy Miller, he said, quote, "I can't believe we came back to this expletive track." So I don't think he likes Pocono that much.
I would say that that is an accurate assessment. What does this do for fuel strategy here, Hunter? At lap 28, we're not quite at the split at halfway like some of the other teams and drivers had maybe planned for. So you're still going to owe everyone a pit stop. So I would just say after a run like that, come to pit lane?
I would assume so. Some of these guys might try to stay out and commit to their fuel run. Some might try and do 2 tires, but I would expect almost everyone to come in. Gonna have a couple of people staying out. Like I mentioned, some of the guys on the left-hand side staying out.
JT Poole is the first of them. David Weishart is the next. But the majority of the field is on pit lane here. I think 2 tires is a good call right now. Keeps your track position. I don't know that we've seen a ton of fall off, so I think that would be a good experiment to try. I think we've seen enough aggression that I'd imagine we could get another yellow. If any, we could also very much not get one with the green flag we just run that we just got. So who knows? But I would feel pretty safe giving two-tire call a try.
Yeah, I think it's definitely worth the shot. And race off the pit road. Quite a few. I shouldn't say only a couple with 2 tires. Everyone taking 4 mostly. Looking down the order. But yeah, it doesn't seem like the tire wear is that particularly bad. Taking a look at Michael Curran at the start of the run, he's running in 53.6, 53.7s. Towards when the caution came out, around 54. So I'm looking at a couple tenths of a second.
Yeah, in that case, I think 2 tires is the obvious call, actually. It's that close. So 6 drivers stayed out. Poole, Weishart, Horn, Kane, Slaughter, Robertson. Now, I like it, this call in their position, Finian, because they did not have very good track position. There's a lot of chaos going on mid-pack and beyond right now, so I would much rather, in their position, get ahead of it and give this a go.
The issue is that they're going to have to kind of be down in pit lane in about 10, maybe 15 laps due to the extra cautions. So they don't have a whole lot of time to wait out there, and though I think the only way this really benefits them is that another caution comes out, because otherwise they're going to be kind of caught out and they're going to have to come pit under green, and that's the last thing that they're going to want.
Yeah, I was just about to say, I would expect the 5 of Grant to come down pit road. He blew through his pit stall for some reason, didn't have a time for him, but he was involved in that most recent incident. Dom DeLeo had some damage as well. Both those guys, coincidentally, right next to each other, repairing damage.
And 1 to green, lights are out on the pace car. And 45 minutes of racing remaining if we go green from here. About 10 laps from halfway. And for Connor Horn, and I like the strategy for him if he didn't have to pit so soon, but this is tricky, Finian, because if they can get a caution well timed enough to be in the next 10 laps or so, that would put them in their fuel window to make it to the end. But then they're going to be behind everybody again, probably, unless everyone else comes to pit lane because they can make it to the end.
Yeah, I feel like the strategy is just the one they're running. I think it's a little bit too risky. I feel like the risks outweigh the benefits of a more conservative strategy. I think especially because this is our 3rd caution so far this race.
Yeah, I believe so.
I feel like you would definitely want to guarantee there's going to be a caution towards the end, in the second half at the very least.
Well, this is going to spice things up for the restart. Looking forward to how this plays out. Like I mentioned, Kyle, the first 6 cars stayed out, all of which are on, well, most are on different strategy. JT Poole hasn't pitted yet. The 5 cars behind him that did stay out, they have pitted at some point, and 6 on back, everyone's got fresh tires and car full of fuel.
Well, if we didn't think it was exciting before, it's about to get very exciting. Almost as exciting as Elite Entertainment. Add some life to the party this summer with Elite Entertainment. Located in Boiling Springs, South Carolina, Elite Entertainment provides high-quality band production to entertain at any location, including karaoke, singo, and more. Visit Linktree/Elite Entertainment LLC for all contact info. Pace car making that turn again. Have another look at the weather. It is cooling off significantly. 66 in the air, 91 on the racetrack, but it's about to get hotter than ever. Here we go, green flag, and we're back underway at Pocono.
Couple cars fanning out, and best start for the drivers on the outside lane. A couple bumps to the back of one another. Heading off into turn 1 this meter, so you can see the drivers on older tires. Do they get freight trained, or are they going to be able to hold their own?
It's going to be interesting here on the exit of turn 1. Some of these guys are going to get close to that outside wall, but for the most part, everyone's fine. Poole still leading the way. Weishart on his bumper. 3rd, 4th, 5th. Kane, Horn, Robertson in the tunnel turn.
Didn't like where Ryan Hartz was. He was middle 3 wide at turn 1. Travis Beckner sailed down there, really trying to take advantage of everyone packed up together. Out through the tunnel turn and into turn 3. Weishart is on the tailpipes of JT Poole. Everyone fans out into this final corner.
Yeah, they're all looking for traction. They're all looking for grip. They're all just looking for some sort of way forward. In turn 3, let's head back into the straightaway. Seth Nolan giving a big push to the back of that Robertson down the back, the front straight, I should say. Gonna get past Brad Slaughter, and I think might make a move on Ed Robertson's gonna have a look into turn 1.
Lots of side-by-side action. Throw. One car in the wall. I think that was Michael Curran in the 24. Not sure what happened there, but nonetheless, he's on the track backwards. A couple more cars getting in the wall behind him. Poole still leads the way, and some side-by-side action in the back half of the top 10. Matheson and Okresic heading in the tunnel turn.
Yeah, still a lot of side-by-side through here, which is challenging. One of Seth Knoll tracking up. That's hard to get air on the nose there when you're following a pair of cars. Here comes the 33. He takes the lead away. Kane's got Knoll right behind him. He's going to push him up the hill, and he's going to go for the center of the road here through turn 3.
Oh, it's going to be almost 3 wide off the corner. Connor going to slide in front of the one as Seth Knoll almost wrecks loose trying to do so. Knoll bails out, goes 3 wide. Drag race for all of them heading off into turn 1. And the reason we saw Curran check up, he was trying to head into turn 1, had to check up for Ed Robertson, who was significantly slower on entry.
Close call there. Oh!
That was Brad Slaughter getting ping-pong around in turn 1.
Yeah, you guys, the High Banks podcast paint scheme. He was all over the place there through turn 1 as the 3 cars were battling for third. Matheson, the fastest one on the newer set of tires. Actually, that's Seth Knoll, my apologies, but nonetheless, still working his way towards that top 5. Getting close to the tunnel turn, Kyle.
Yeah, that was really, really tight through there. Almost banging doors. Such a high commitment spot, and there's just so many cars on top of each other. Look at this shot out of turn 3.
Yeah, look at that, almost like they're pacing in formation, except for the slight 3 wide action there in the middle of the screen. You're looking at Adam Cabot on the bottom, Blaze McKinney, and Ed Robertson was on the outside for a moment. Then you got Travis Beckner, Connor Kresick in the mix. As you look further up, Mason Kane, he's still not done yet. He's trying to make a move, trying to stay on the outside of Connor Horn. And both of them fight on their older tires, trying to keep position. Seth Knoll putting the pressure in behind.
And Connor's in that unfortunate spot where the draft is not going his way. He's going to try and get in line, but here comes Matheson to the inside. Going to have a run for 5th heading in the tunnel turn. Maybe a shot at 4th.
Yeah, he gave it a good lunge down there. He's going to complete the pass on Connor Horn, slide ahead of him. David Weishart with the advantage now. Drivers experimenting with this upper groove. You see all 4 of those cars trending up the hill and arcing down later in the corner to get on throttle. Dale Senior, as we head down the front straightaway here. JT Poole still tucked up under the rear spoiler of David Weishart.
Yeah, mostly single file for the first few cars, heading off into turn 1, looking back to Drew, making a move, a couple moves, as well as some more 3 wide action, nearly 3 wide action here.
Yeah, that was very tight there on the exit of turn 1. This is an interesting spot of the track to be in, and back up front, still single file up here for the first 5 cars or so, but Matheson closing in on the bumper and Seth Knoll. Oh, they almost had a moment in the tunnel turn.
A lot of aggression right now. People are realizing how much more challenging it is to make passes. But it still seems like, I mean, those that, whoa, look at this squeeze with the 18 of Morton on the bottom and Mason Kane in the middle. Somehow they made it work. But there are still 3 drivers with old tires inside the top 5. But JT Poole's on his 36th lap of this run, Finney.
Yeah, he's going to be starting to push that limit, and he's going to have his fingers crossed. He's going to be caution out. I also wanted to give an update. Guys, where's Ryan Hartz? I know it was a rhetorical question, but more of a figurative question. Where did he go? Whoa, Ed Robertson, I think, hit the wall a little bit. He's in the wall. Everyone avoids action. But yeah, he's only back in 21st. He took this restart back in 12th. It's been a very poor restart. It's been constantly shuffled and shuffled back. I'm not sure what it is, but it seems like in the dirtier in traffic, Ryan Hartz is struggling a bit.
Yeah, that all happened with some of these guys. As there's
Justin Bondurant is in the wall. Glances off the inside. Yeah, we'll keep it green for now.
It's the second time that's happened to him.
Let's see if this time he got assistance or if it was the same story. He just got loose this time. Seth Knoll up to 2nd place and going for the lead on the inside of David Weishart. They touch.
Oh.
The 33 goes up the hill.
He's trying to hang on to it. Oh, more contact with JT Poole. They're still wrecking loose off of turn 1. Weishart gets shuffled back to 4th. Matheson in 3rd. JT Poole up to 2nd.
Well, I gotta imagine Weishart's living on the radio. Almost created a crash there with JT Poole. Nonetheless, still holding strong. Trying to stay inside the top 5. His car is loose as ever. Seth Knoll scooting away with the lead. Poole, Matheson in tow.
Nichols trying to get around all this chaos here. That was very nearly a big wreck on the back straightaway right at the pointy end of the field. JT Poole, Jake Matheson, they're side by side. Seth Knoll going to take the field down into the gray stuff on the front stretch.
Cameron barely caught him there heading towards the pit lane wall. trying to break the slipstream. Michael Curran there also as well. Whoa! Travis Beckner getting to Mason Kane. Kane almost wrecking loose into turn 1. He will save it, but has to get out of line up in the marbles. That's going to slow him down.
Oh, he's going to get squeezed.
4 wide. Oh my gosh. Yeah, almost 4 wide on corner X, and that's unfortunate whenever you're going through a tight turn like turn 1 in Pocono. Everyone's still smooth sailing so far as Noel continues to lead. Matheson up to second, pulled down to third.
Everything's just so high commitment here. You get out of the throttle if you have to jump out of the gas for any reason. You just get freight trained. It's like, imagine if Martinsville was a 6th gear track. I mean, it's just an unbelievable challenge. You know, you just get booted up out of the groove and you go down the hill from there.
Phil Croner out of line, trying to make up a spot on Mason Kane, who's also trying to make his way back up the order. A little bit of conga line as well. Ray Schaefer, Eversher Jr. in behind the 11.
That was about for 15th on the track.
Oh, Krezek! Oh, hit to the inside wall. That car is destroyed.
Oh, look out!
Caution will fly.
Oh, and back into
Holy
traffic.
cow.
I think everybody just missed him.
One car into the outside wall, had to slam the outside wall to avoid him. I think that was Shane Wolf in the 75. Couldn't quite tell.
If there was any contact that led to this.
He just Brian Swan that hit the wall. Couldn't avoid it, but
Oh my gosh, that's a heavy hit.
that's the angle I saw it from. There was Ryan Swan hitting the wall, trying to avoid at the last second.
That is a nasty impact there out of turn 2, or turn 1 rather.
And you were talking about in the pre-race how they move the walls up to reduce the impact.
Well, in theory, it makes this better because otherwise, look, I mean, he would have gained more momentum.
Yeah.
The wall was further back, but he just catches this cutout. I don't know if you could hit a wall harder here, to be honest.
Well, in this day and age, yes. Back in the day, Elliott Sadler say, "Hold my beer."
Well, they fixed that part, at least. But, yeah, just see the 18 of Matthew Morton go up the hill here, then 14 just has to turn to miss him. So this is at an interesting time, guys, right around halfway.
Yeah, and JT Poole is going to be pumping the air because he gets a chance to come down to pit lane.
Yeah, and for Connor Horn, that worked out really nicely, too, for David Weishart. I mean, it really worked out nice for some of those guys that were trying this alternative strategy.
Question is, will everyone else decide to do so? I know the window is opened up technically, right? But do they think this is going to be the last caution?
No,
I don't think it's going to be the last caution.
No, but I think you can just save fuel from here, right? I mean, if you get yellows, you just save fuel.
Yeah, I mean, that's essentially what JT Poole has done. He's proven that he can go 40 laps, anyone else can. Brad Keselowski would probably make it 60 laps if that's were the case, but...
And never mind.
Mixed bag.
Oh, real split decision here.
Mostly split to the pit lane, but a couple drivers staying out. A couple drivers near the back deciding to bail out.
Interesting.
It's always fun when the order gets shuffled up a little bit with strategy.
You know, it's kind of nice to have strategy because the race isn't broken up into stages.
Oh, don't get me started.
I'm going to get you started. Stages are bad. I don't know. If a race, my opinion, if your races are so tragically boring that you need to make it more exciting, then I think you've got something wrong with your car.
I'm fine with them keeping the stages, just don't throw a yellow.
Oh, sure. That's a different thing. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, the planned yellows absolutely ruin it.
Yeah, TV breaks. You should just call them.
I mean, they still show ads during the green flag racing as well, so it doesn't...
If like the 24 Hours of Daytona was a stage race?
Oh, God, I could imagine. There would be pitchforks.
We really shouldn't give anybody ideas at this stage.
I was going to say, remember who owns IMSA, so keep your mouth sealed.
Caution clock. Let's bring that back. Oh. You know, the thing is you know what I like about the caution clock is it was just a more honest version of stages. Like, yeah, it's boring for 20 minutes. Let's throw a yellow and re-rack them. I mean, that's... At least it was full commitment.
I just can't believe that was ever an actual thing.
And you know
Like-
what? There was only one time in a truck race where that was used twice. Every other race, it was only used once, where it went 20 minutes and then they threw a yellow for that.
Yeah. 22 got a free pass, by the way. He's going to get in the wall here. Wow.
Oh my gosh.
Almost gave the wall a free coat of paint there.
It's all right, we're not going green this time, Dom. We got the one to go.
And we did get the one to go this time, so then we'll restart with 38 laps remaining.
And also, what update too? We up until this last caution, we had all 43 drivers in the race still running. Present will be the first retirement of the evening.
So drivers on pit lane getting topped off. Tyler Nichols, Ed Robertson, Justin Bondurant. Now this is an interesting strategy, I feel, because from here, another couple miles you've gone, you put some fuel in the tank. Just solidify. Remember our green, white checkers, guys, we can go a lot longer than we have in the past. 3 green, white checkers here that's 9 laps. That's 20-something miles more.
Yeah,
so you better have some fuel in the tank for those.
I was gonna say, again, definitely need extra fuel. And again, this is kind of cutting it close as it is. Not even accounting for green, white checkers. Of course, I think that us and any driver on the track right now is doubtful this is going to green to the end. But you never know.
Pretty sure those two running up front would like to see it go green to the end. Teammates running 1-2.
Slinger Racing graphics cars there on the front row for this restart. Look who has crept into 3rd place. So the top 9 drivers have stayed out on the racetrack with their 13-lap-old tires. We've already kind of established that tires are not a huge deal here tonight. But 13 laps older fuel tank, I guess. 13 laps lighter fuel tank. Matheson and Springer are going to bring us to the green here. Maybe a little coordination amongst the team. See him counting it down there, and they're back underway here at Pocono. Jake Matheson and Ricky Springer with pushes from Matthew Morton and Travis Beckner back there.
Yeah, I have to mention too, that's 3 in the top 4 as they run. 3 out of the 4 of them are Slinger Racing Graphic esports drivers. That's Matheson, Springer, and Morton. Ooh. As a caution flies out immediately in the back of the field. Oh, Dom DeLeo, Mason Kane.
Oh no, that's not good. Oh my gosh, what?
It started with Mason Kane.
There's a whole bunch of car parts there on the inside.
Oh, we got turned off the nose of the 71. And, oh, the 22 just drilled him. This is... Dubigin gets in the back of him and turns him around. Up into the wall, and the 22 nowhere to go.
Yeah, he thought he was trying to figure out where the 31 was going to end up. Thought he was going to spin down low, and unfortunately ended up going backwards up the track.
Hear him even lifting early. He didn't want to get in this mess.
And chose to go high, and
well, that'll be it too.
Yeah.
Car took a big hit. Gosh, that is a nasty impact there. But Dominic DeLeo's night will be over. Connor Okrezik is also out of this race. Emerson Arden is 2 laps down, but still rolling as Jake Matheson's going to catch the pace car again. This is all great for those that need to save fuel, Finian.
Yeah, this is exactly what we were talking about. You know, under the caution laps, just turn the engine off, save your fuel. You're good to go. And majority of the field did come down to pit. The drivers that stayed out were Matheson, Springer, Beckner, Morton, Bell, Ryan Hart, Andrew Payne, and James Shainwolf. Everyone else came into the pit. And actually, also as they're running under pace, I also got an update from Race Control that Nick Silver was promoted to be the 4th driver in the lineup for SRG Esports, replacing Louis Foster. So he's now a charter driver, so doesn't have to worry about racing his way in, and so far having a really solid race with the rest of his team, all of them in the top 10.
Well, that's why you have these reserve drivers in place. So congrats to Nick Silver, as Louis Foster's got bigger things to focus on, like winning the NXT championship, the Indie Next championship, I should say. I've watched too much WWE to call it NXT, but nonetheless, he's got a bigger deal to take care of, and wish him all the best.
Yeah, great looking livery on that 99 as well. It's like saying WEC versus WEC, and I thought WEC was a kind of bread. Get beef on.
I honestly am surprised. I genuinely thought the official pronunciation was just WEC.
I thought so too, but turns out it's not.
And then I just heard progressively over the years, I didn't say WEC, WEC, WEC. I'm like, all right, I guess it's WEC.
World Endurance Championship.
Hey, that fast Finney, it kind of reminds me of the Vine days back in 2013, where there was a song called WAP. And there's just
Oh,
WAP,
God.
WAP, WAP.
Oh, that's a throwback. Goal now.
Ryan Hart's, by the way, back up to 6th place playing the strategy. I think this is something that he needed to do just to really reinstate the track position he lost on the prior run. I don't think tires are going to help him. I think he just needs to get some clean air on the nose.
I think so too. I think he's going to wait till the run goes later on, and there's a later caution might come in and top off on fuel. He is short by a decent number of laps, to the point where I don't think he can save enough, even if we do get quite a few cautions to the end of this race. So I think he's gonna just kind of have to hope for the best. But I think it was a solid decision to just pit, solid decision to stay out under the recent caution, get that track position.
Now, maybe this isn't that significant.
Right,
sorry, Hunter. I just wanted to point this out real quick, that the first Ford running 12th, and it's James Shanewolf of all people. He's had a tough night, but all the strategy playing out here, P12.
I guess you could say he's built Ford tough if he's the highest running Ford. He was caught up in a crash or two, but yeah, I was going to say it could be a good thing to be an odd-numbered car, because the first race of the year was won by the number 1 car. Obviously, Jake Matheson won the second race. His car number is not 2, but we are on the third race of the year, where the 3 car, he's been up front, but he's had his struggles, but back in the thick of it.
We look ahead to the rest of the season as well. I mean, this is one of the more unique tracks on the calendar, Pocono. Of course, we head to Charlotte and Dover. Up next, Charlotte's about as standard NASCAR as you can get. And then we head to Sonoma in a couple weeks, though, and then North Wilkesboro and Darlington and Montreal. So a couple of road races within a few events of each other. They've got a short track and the track 2 Tough to Tame right in the middle of it. So a couple standard NASCAR affairs, and then let's get really interesting. Montreal in particular, I think, is going to be a lot of fun, Finney. We haven't seen, I mean, maybe it was a fuel race back in the day, but
Big fuel.
It's
fuel
been
definitely done in Montreal. It's been a long time.
Long time, yeah, and I'm looking forward to that. It's a great stock car track.
Yeah, I think especially with the next-gen car that drives a little bit better on the road courses, we'll see how these drivers can perform there. But it's definitely a great track for stock car racing. A lot of stop and start corners, and throwing these cars around, a lot of passing opportunities. And we'll see, though, as you come out of turn 3, how many passing opportunities these guys are going to have at turn 1, because they've been trying to make as many as humanly possible.
Well, how many lanes deep are they going to go?
Yes. The answer to that question.
How many you got there? I mean, you could put 50 of them across if you wanted to. Here we go, lap 47 of 80. If we get green flag laps, this is going to dwindle down pretty quickly. Jake Matheson gets a nice launch there on the inside lane alongside his Springer Racing Graphics teammate. 2x2 down towards turn 1. And here comes the third lane.
Adam Cabot in the 07 going to the inside is going to push Silver up the track in Drew Jua. And the 83 Jackson Anderson also on the outside as well, trying to make some moves. I haven't really talked a whole lot of the 83, but he's now starting to poke his nose inside the top 10.
They're getting awfully dicey back there. Jake Nichols, Seth Knoll all the way to the inside. Going to make it 3 wide in the tunnel turn. Not a particular spot you want to be in, especially that part of the racetrack. Nichols going to be on the bottom end of that as Knoll moves up, and there's getting squirrely back there.
Yeah, 2, I think, was one of the cars involved there.
Cameron Mitchell was loose.
Yeah. Cameron Hurt was in it. 25 of Bailey Turner. Remember how his night started? Not well. He's back up to 26th. There's a lot of work still left to do, and it's all right ahead of him.
Yeah, and arguably nowhere for him to really go. He's kind of boxed in with all these cars ahead of him and kind of has to figure out a lane as everyone fans out into turn 1. Ooh, Seth Knoll especially goes way out wide up on the high side, arguably too high.
It's going to be the wall out at 1. This is tricky. No, he actually does a nice job there, but you always worry about someone bouncing off and ping-ponging someone like Connor Okrezik into the inside wall.
Oh, and Seth Noel actually going to take, almost use the slipstream to make a 3-wide move to the inside. Entering turn 2, he's going to try to get past James Shainwolf and Nick Silver. Adam Cabot also coming up on his left rear quarter panel.
Oh my gosh, it's so hard to keep track of what's going on. I mean, we got 3 wide right here with Noel in the middle, and imagine if this was real-life Pocono. These cars so fanned out through turn 3, I wouldn't even know what to do with myself if I was at this track.
Yeah, just tight squeezes, everyone trying to get in that line closest to the wall out of turn 3. It's like fighting for, like I said, it's like fighting for a lane at Martinsville. Willing to knock somebody out of the way for it. It's that important. Double wide. We 4 wide on entry back there as well. That's tight and dicey.
Yeah, it's very sketchy, especially when you start to see lanes margin disappear. Whoa! Car in the wall, Blaze McKinney and David Weisart. Weisart turn on the back straightaway.
Oh, man. Look out! Whoa!
Turn to the inside wall. I don't think the caution will fly. We remain green, but his car is destroyed.
Yeah, that's an ugly one. The Weisart. Center 3 wide here again. It just didn't leave that McKinney to the outside there. Didn't leave him a lot of space to go. And then across the road again. And then again into the cutouts. They really did not put those in a great spot, did they?
Nope. No, they did not.
The only part I don't like about the reprofiling with Pocono, but I digress as the race continues. Going to be 30 to go next time by, and Springer and Matheson 1-2 in the turn 1.
Big Nichols working over his teammate there. Bronner just moved up. Oh, car's in the wall again, bouncing off the fence out of 1. Again, that just tells me that everyone's struggling with a tight condition. They're just getting back to throttle so early, hoping it's going to stick. And then when it doesn't, just ping it off the fence and hope that there's no one inside to make it worse.
Oh, Jackson Anderson. Whoa.
He was way out of line, was able to just keep it in line to avoid hitting the wall, but James Shainwolf going to take advantage of the situation as you look further up. Jake Matheson trying to make a move on his teammate. Slinger Racing Graphics Esports 1, 2, and 3 at the moment.
And then the 4th one is back battling inside the top 10. Nick Silver, the newest entry to the team, actually a promotion for him. On board with Springer, the leader, gets a shove from Matheson heading into turn 1, and a look to the inside once again, but the door slammed shut by Springer.
192 miles an hour off into turn 1 with that assistance.
And in behind them, Drew Jua trying to make a move on Ryan Hart's battle for 5th place with them.
Side by side through the tunnel turn. This is tough.
There, Ryan Hart's on the wall. Beckner.
Oh my gosh.
Save it.
That's the 2nd time that's happened to him, coming off turn 2.
Seeing Blake shaking off. Carry on. What more can you do, right? Well, big wiggle there from the 3.
Oh my gosh. Look at that there. He's just, again? Oh, we got to do this again.
You got a lot of time to think about things on the straightaway, don't you? Oh, the 1 just sailing off in there in turn 1. He's in there way hot. The 3's going to cross him over, and Peckner sees an opportunity here.
No, actually, timed that perfectly. You got a fantastic run off of turn 1, all things considered. Absolutely licking the stamp and sending it down there. And he's able to still keep Ryan Hartz at bay. Ryan, I don't think he's going to have enough of a run to make a move. He will not. And Noel still throwing it hard on entry. Noel, I think he's really going to start pushing that right front. Seth Noel, the way he's throwing these cars in the corner.
Doing everything he can to try and re-enter the top 5, being held by Drew Jua and Matthew Bell. They were side by side just a couple of seconds ago as Matheson still looks to the inside, but to no avail. Springer will lead once again down the stretch.
Long straightaway down here into turn 1. Speed's well over 190 miles an hour. Then you got to slow it down. If you're going to go down a couple of gears, make sure you're rev matching properly. The drivetrain shock will turn you sideways if you don't do it wrong. Car's shuffling out of turn 1 again. And I think the 73 that had to turn left there pretty hard.
I did see that. I think it might have been James Shainwolf that got close to the wall. He got a decent piece of the wall at 75. So Jake Nichols will make his way on by on the inside of turn 2. McLaren trying to do much of the same, couldn't quite get there. Now he's going to deal with Phil Cronin, who's outside.
Yeah, he really hasn't had a good second half of the race so far. He was up inside the top 5 at one point, leading at one point as well. is yet to regain that ground he's lost. He's back here battling for 18th and going nowhere.
Well, backwards even. At the outside lane goes on by. Things are heating up here a little bit between the teammates here at the front. 3 Toyotas and then the Chevrolet of Matthew Bell.
Travis Beckner, I just saw a little bit loose. Saw some tire smoke out coming off the tires with that car so sideways.
Got a mirror full of Ryan Hartz there heading in the tunnel turn, running in the 7th spot.
Right, his best lap of the race. I mean, I think he's one of the only drivers to do that. Adam Cabot also did, but not every. I mean, that's not. There's sometimes that every driver does that in a lap, but that time only a handful did. Douglas Newbegin.
Seth Knoll might have a look to the inside of Drew Jua heading into turn 1. He's all over his bumper.
Does not. Two teammates. Really tight quarters there into turn 1.
Yeah, it looks like they're kind of happy running information at the moment. I don't really see for them any reason to shake things up. They still have a pit stop looming over their heads, so I think that's the next thing they got to really think about. Better just kind of preserve what they got than to burn it up fighting each other.
Cabot, big wiggle there in the tunnel turn. And Connor Horn up to 13th after starting from the tail of the field here, Hunter. It's a little bit of strategy along the way, but he's starting to creep up towards his top 10.
Slow and steady wins the race, and that could be the pace for Connor Horn as he's working with the 609 teammate there of Cabot around the blue machine of JT Poole, and now they're on the bumper of Jackson Anderson, who holds that 10th spot.
Travis Beckner and Drew Jua side by side here out of turn 1. Bell takes a hard left and then tucks right back into line single file.
Part of me, I kind of want to say this, and I kind of don't. Oh, I'm not going to say it. Not going to say it. Never mind. Forget it.
Oh, he avoided commentator's curse, Kyle. That's what just happened.
If he had finished that sentence, they would not have saved that. He's very lucky that he's quick at holding his tongue. Look at this, change of position.
Yeah, saw Juke in a dive, and there's 54 along with the 18 as Ricky Springer will get relegated back to 3rd. Part of me wants to feel that was planned.
It was so precise.
Yeah. Going pretty good. Travis Beckner is not playing around though.
My
Bell
God.
in the wall out of turn 1, and Beckner senses the blood.
Trying to look and see if he can make a move the inside. Of course, no lane there. Matthew Bell still continue on like nothing happened. Trying to keep him at bay, and see a couple people trying to peek out of line. It looks like Cabot's going to stick out of line. Try to break inside the top 10 for, I think, the first time tonight.
Oh, Hartz is going to be in the middle of that on corner exit. Oh my gosh, Jackson Anderson going to give him a nice shove. Almost worked out too well for the 609 guys as they are still trying to navigate their way inside the top 10.
JT tucks back in, thought he might have a run on Connor Horn. The 11 of Groner pops out of line here late on the 70 of Andrew Payne, who was in the wall in one of the earlier wrecks. He's rebounded pretty nicely. 39 of our 43 starters are still on the racetrack as we approach 20 laps to go.
Yeah, 36 of them on the lead lap running, and 35 of them within 10 seconds of the leader, so fairly close, all things considered, across the entire field. The leaders, Matheson, Morton, and Springer. Again, I think at this point they're just trying to control this race and keep the lead. They can control the pace as Matthew Bell trying to block off Travis Beckner in behind. And hello, that's a big angle. Of course, 3 wide.
Oh, it's going to get tight on exit for Nichols and Poole. Somehow they navigate their way through that. And on board with Andrew Payne in the 70. He went to the inside wall early on in the race, recovered nicely in 16th. Side by side for the lead, heading into 1.
18 car to the bottom of the racetrack now. This is team on team, blue on blue here as they head through turn 1. Will this open up an opportunity for somebody else to take the advantage from this team, though? Springer playing defense.
And that got kicked off with Morton. He got loose coming off of turn 3, and he lost momentum. So Morton saw the opportunity to take advantage. This very much does not look coordinated between the lows. See some 3-wide action. Anderson up, going to be near the wall. He keeps it off as everyone tries to give each other as much space as possible.
Oh, now Hart's turned off, trying to give Anderson room. Almost got into Connor Horn. They're still door-to-door for the lead, and everyone's still flinging out willy-nilly here in turn 3. No turn 4. Matheson going to get behind Morton. Matthew Morton going to lead some laps here at Pocono.
Yeah, their whole line of cars got in the wall in the entrance to turn 3. Just kind of target fixation there. Seth Knoll pops out of line on Matthew Bell late in the straightaway. He's been really good down here at turn 1, Finian.
Yeah, he's been really good at braking. I don't know how he's been able to pull it off. You saw him make a aggressive move on Ryan Arts. Now here he is making a move. The same move essentially on Matthew Bell. Did a great job. Gave Bell a push into turn 1. Pulled out of line last second and then made the move and executed. So he's up to 4th. He's seeing he can poke a hole in the Singer Racing Graphics Esports monopoly at the front of the field.
Nick Silver going on backwards there. Beckner moving up, and boy, Jackson Anderson. Talk about a Larson line. If there ever was one, that's the line that it would be. He's running that, trying to get around Nick Silver.
Oh, I think it almost worked, but he had to lift a bit, leaving the corner. He's got assistance from Jake Nichols, though. That'll help. Fast winner here at this racetrack. Jua and Bell side by side.
I think Bell might win out of this if he can get a decent exit. Jua trying to keep as much momentum going off the corner. Beckner in the wall slightly in behind him.
Seth Knoll slowly creeping in on this top 3, hosted by Slinger Racing Esports Graphics. Very tight quarters there with Beckner on the outside of Cabot. That's for 7th, trying to hold that spot, and he will for the moment.
I've been really impressed with these Slinger Racing Graphics cars up front. To race like they raced and not give up the advantage they had is pretty impressive. But as you pointed out, Hunter, Ricky Springer is now playing full defense. Keep keep Seth Knoll behind the other 2. So Finian, as we get under 20 laps to go, it's going to be critical to see if this team is capable of holding back that one car.
Well, not only that, as well, one absolutely licks the stamp and sends it once more, although I don't think that was as effective as he would have liked. He's going to give up some momentum on the corner exit. As Springer tries to get a run, tries to slide draft, and has to slot just in behind the 1. He's got the yield 3rd place to the 1 of Seth Knoll.
The first line of defense is down for Springer as he's fighting to stay in 4th now with Jua to the inside. That's going to bring Bell and Beckner to the party. Seth Knoll going to close in on Matheson and Morton heading into turn 3.
Cameron Hearn on the bottom here. Hunter Edwards Sherrod Jr. Ryan Hartz again has slipped all the way back to 18th. His long run pace is not really there. Short run pace seems okay, but once you get 10, 15 laps after a restart, that 3 car is sliding backwards. 18 laps to go. They're clicking off pretty quick, Finian. I mean, we've got about 15 minutes left in this race if we go green to the end.
And the big thing is the Slinger Racing Esports guys, they came in 34 laps ago. They really got to start thinking about pit stop. They're not going to be able to make it to the end on the empty space.
Yeah, they're going to have to go 52 laps if they want that to happen, which that's going to be impossible to do, but we'll see. Still got 18 laps here as the field rolls through the tunnel turn. A couple guys getting close to the wall and bouncing off.
Yeah, they really need a nicely timed yellow, but that would bring everybody in, I think, just for maybe a top off on fuel and then the tire situation as well. And trouble for Ryan Hartz. Oh no, he's just into pit lane, so I thought there was going to be a spin, but he just decided to come to pit road. What do you guys think make of this, Finian?
I think it's a scheduled stop. He's got 34, 35 laps since he last came into pit road, so I think he's deciding to kind of maximize, not pit in too late, get a little bit of usage out of some fresher tires. So he's off on his way to pit lane, and I wonder if that's going to open the door to everyone else coming down.
Someone might have sent him the script that I got, so I don't know how I feel about that.
Oh, Jackson Anderson on the outside of Connor Horn. Oh, big wiggle from the 24. Curhan in the background as well. Philip Groner right behind these 2. Connor Horn pushing up the hill. I think he's just trying to slide ahead of the 83, and the 8 car peels off. Matthew Bell 3 wide here and on the front straightaway.
Oh man, they almost run each other. There's still bang doors on the front straightaway with these guys. JT Pool gonna come up the middle, give a push to the 83.
Oh, they're still tight on corner entry, heading into turn 1. 3 deep. Groner, Pool, and Jackson Anderson on the outside. Pool going to try and settle in line behind the 83, but Horn on the bumper. Going to get real tight. He's going to give him a nice shove down the straightaway.
That was a dramatic front straightaway. They were trying to wreck. Didn't finish the job off, though.
That's the best way to describe it, because I am amazed they didn't wreck somehow with how aggressive they're driving.
Oh, tough. Quarters out of 2. Reese Schaefer in the 97. We haven't really talked a lot about him this season or tonight. 22nd to 16th. It's been sort of okay. Not Roger Penske ain't calling after that one, but moving forward when the time counts.
Yeah, definitely starting to make up some positions, and I think based on, if I'm not mistaken, I think he pit with other people. So if he can stay out with a lot of drivers needing to pit ahead of him, he might actually get a pretty decent run out of tonight, the way things are going to unfold. Also to mention, while the Wreckfest was nearly going on near the front, Matthew Bell came down to pit lane, so he's the second driver to come down under green.
Oh, big gap there between, that is, who is that? That's Cabot and Anderson. Yeah, big gap there.
Yeah, I think it was all due to when they started battling 3 wide off into turn 1. They cost themselves a lot of times to the leader and try to see if they can make it back up.
Out of turn 3, coming to 14 laps to go. Does anybody else peel off this time? Doesn't seem like it. I almost don't hate. I mean, maybe I do. I want fuel and tires. I would rather do my pit stop now than wait later, but I would like to do it with a couple of cars just to keep the straightaway speeds up. I don't want to do it by myself.
Also, plus things along continuing out, more chance of caution coming out and saving you that lonely trip down pit lane.
Well, one of the bright sides about Pocono is that you can pit, depending on where you're at, you can pit and still come out on the lead lap. You won't lose a lap here. Now that depends on where you're at. Hart's pitted from, where is he? Was running around the top 10 as Schaefer had the moment off the tunnel turn, or right around that spot, and he's still on the lead lap.
Pocono's got 3 bright sides. No?
I understood the reference.
Down the front stretch, 13 to go. Matheson and Morton. Downshifting, and looks like
Nichols and Seth Miller fighting in behind. Same position between the Solar Flare drivers as Nichols dives it in. Seth Miller going to back out of it and get a bigger run. He actually gives a push to his teammate.
And here comes the cavalry for Solar Flare Racing, running 3rd and 4th on the racetrack, trying to catch up to the front 2 of the Springer Esports drivers, Matthew Morton and Jake Matheson.
this group back here, the energy's pretty high. I'm a little worried about this one, to be honest.
Of note, James Shanewolf came down last time by, so I think we're starting to see more and more drivers come down to pit lane. Haven't heard any word from the Slinger Racing Esports drivers up near the front. They haven't announced coming to pit lane. It's starting to get very tight near this part of the field, in the middle of the field.
Oh my gosh, who was that? A few cars back. They almost wrecked coming out of turn 3. It was that red car back there. I'm not sure who, but it got really tight on corner exit.
Oh boy, the 70 of Andrew Payne. That was really dicey through turn 1. Left-hand side of the screen showing you how long these cars have been on track. 40 laps for the front runners at the moment.
Yeah, and heard on the radio, I think it was Matheson on the radio. He's like, certainly someone wants to pit first, so I don't think it's looking too good for them. I just heard the number 70, Andrew Payne, he's coming on down, where he's running.
He's running right in the picture there, right around the, yeah, I would say right around that.
There he is, that red car, and there he will go off on the right hand of the screen. Off to pit lane for him.
Ooh, that was tight. Her-handed. Cameron Hearn. Hearn's going to go the long way around here down into turn 1. We were getting down to the last few moments of this race, the last 10 minutes effectively. And there's still a lot left to sort out. I don't really know if there's anyone that's been dominant other than the Slinger Racing graphics cars.
Yeah, and they're going to throw the white flag in the air for that, because they're going to have to come down to the pits in not too long from now.
Well, and they're gonna have to take more fuel probably than some of the other cars. About 10 laps worth more, effectively.
That's going to cut it close for everyone else because they're at 41, going to be 42. These guys that pitted about 29, 30 laps ago, they might have a little leeway, but it's going to be interesting as we cross the stripe and to go.
Yeah, I think those other drivers that pit with 29, 30 laps ago, I think they should be good because we had 1 or 2 cautions to give them just a little bit of an extra buffer. The guys that have 40 laps, pitted 40 laps ago, they're really going to be running close. And the only way I think they could have made is if they did some extreme fuel saving the entire run, which you can bet a lot of guys near the front did not do.
I really haven't seen anyone or noticed anyone fuel saving.
Spin! Crash into turn 2!
And
that's so
car spinning. That's the
They're right
caution. That's the caution that the Springer guys needed. And everyone's going to be coming down pitting for fuel and tires.
78 of Eitzon's also in it, so is Bailey Turner. And this is a very interestingly timed caution, especially because it's going to give us a pretty late race restart as well. Here's a look at what happened, and it was just a checkup, I think. Everyone, 24 drives into the 71, the 4 gets him, the 97 gets him, and from there they're along for the ride.
Yeah, a bunch of ping pong back there. Oh, 78 around. 25 Bailey Turner as well.
And just a big stack up, just accordion effect, everyone running in line. Just amplifies that. Whoa, is that the 19 as well that just had to, got into it, sort of?
Cardinal, yeah.
Well, I can tell you who the big winners are from that yellow. Andrew Payne, Matthew Bell, Ryan Arts, James Shanewolf, those guys that pitted just a few laps ago. They're going to gain a lot of track position here. I would assume a lot of these guys are going to come down pit road, take some tires, and definitely fill up on fuel.
So, yeah, this is going to be interesting. So here's your running order as it is. It's going to be very much not like this here in a moment. I think we'll see varying strategies. All right, some of these cars have been on track for 30 laps. Fitting our tires worth it, you think?
I honestly don't think so. I think we've seen the track positions way too valuable. Once you get stuck in the back of the field, it's a long time to get yourself up in the front. It's hard to pass, especially if you're stuck in the middle of the field, around 20th position. I think it's worth, honestly, just kind of staying out for those 2 laps. By the time you get up to speed and really start pushing those tires, I just don't quite think it's worth it. If anything, 2 tires, but definitely not 4. And we see a lot of drivers making their decision, and it's fairly split down the order.
So the 1 stays out. He's got 32 laps on his set of tires and his fuel tank. So it'll be basically an even 40. But some of the cars coming in have 44 laps on it, so they should be good. But I don't know. I would less yellows than cars with more fuel or more laps have.
Plus, it's a late race yellow. We usually see once we get a late race yellow, usually yellows precede it. So I think the track position's way too valuable at this point. So I kind of like Seth Knowles' call and Jua Cabot as well. In fact, I'll actually set the order for the drivers that stayed out. It's Noel, Jua Cabot, Poole, Horn, Groner, Shearer Jr., new beginning. You talked about him being near the end. This might be his time. Schaefer, Mitchell, Seth Berger, and Matthew Service all stayed out. Every other driver in the field came on down. And even there was a little bit mixed. Andrew Payne, he took only 2 tires, as well as Jake Nichols, and actually quite a few drivers on back, a couple taking 4. So mixed strategies all up and down the board.
Yeah, while they didn't go all the way up towards the front, Payne, Bell, Hart, Shanewolf, they did pit before the yellow came out. They were running back outside the top 30, so they are a bit closer towards that top 10. And, I mean, Kyle, anything can happen here. I mean, all bets are off. The aggression level is already at maximum capacity, and it's Pocono, so we can go 3 wide, 4 wide, maybe even 5 wide on this next restart.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen the restarts actually be pretty orderly, all things considered. I know we had an incident early in the race on a restart, but we've not seen yet the potential of the Pocono restart just yet. You can absolutely get 6 and 7 wide just the challenge with this is that you're not grip limited like you used to be, Finian. With the old car, you could spin the tires, so you had to kind of modulate your throttle. Now you can just pack it to the floor and get up through the gears pretty efficiently. So I don't know that we'll see the speed differential enough to get to the 6 and 7 wide, but 3 and 4 absolutely, and it all pinches down into turn 1.
Yeah, it pinches down and on the exit especially, so I wouldn't be too surprised if we see something happen down there as we get to 1 to green. And that's kind of where I'm liking, for some of these drivers that, that stayed out. I think that might be the call that might win them the race, because I just don't think we're going to have enough laps for the newer tires that drivers came in behind to make a difference.
Well, before we get back to the green here, of course, our replays tonight have been provided by Hendry County Motorsports Park. Racing returns to the Hendry County Motorsports Park on September 7th, including 360 Top Gun wing splits, Crusoe late models, factory stocks, and more. Tickets are $15 for adults with discounted prices for seniors, teens, and kids ages 5 and under are free. Come see racing at the southernmost dirt track in America, located in Clewiston, Florida, right off U.S. Highway 27. Visit henryracing.com for more info. And, of course, the High Banks Podcast. Those two blue-collar guys, Nick and Alex, talking about NASCAR and more. Listen to episode 205 with Brad Slaughter. New episode with Jacob Bell coming soon, available on Spotify. We head through the tunnel turn, and all right, let's look at reevaluate our picks. So mine's leading. I'm not sure how confident I am that he will be in 7 laps. Finning, where's yours at?
That is a great question. Where is he? Oh, he's 35th. Ooh. Come on, Michael. The 1 week I picked you.
And Hunter?
My pick is James Scioli. Trying to find him.
I haven't seen him all night. Was he even in the race?
I haven't seen him all night.
Oh, man.
Did not start for you.
Does that mean I get a re-roll?
Yeah, sure, go for it.
All right, give me Seth Knoll.
Oh, I already picked him. You can't have him. Green flags. 6 to go.
Cabot.
All right, well, that's all right. We'll see. Maybe a fair weather friend on the 0-7. 6 laps to go, 2 and 3 wide, and maybe 4 back here midfield. Oh, that's tight.
There it goes. 4 wide, there it is in the middle of the field. Do they make it out of the turn in one piece?
No way. No way.
Yes way, apparently.
Wow.
Look at them. They're still fanning out. Almost 5 wide for a second.
Whoop. Little hip checks here. Okay, tunnel turns where it all ends. There's no possible way. You cannot do that. You can't do that. 5 wide for a moment. Into the tunnel turn. And they did it. I cannot believe that.
Yeah, they're still not done yet. They're still fighting 3 wide all the way around the track into turn 3, fanning out, using every piece of racetrack.
Oh, max service. Getting really high there on turn 3.
Cannot believe what I just saw.
And they return to somewhat of an orderly fashion here. Seth Knoll leading them down. Jujua, Adam Cabot, Poole, and Groner, your top 5. Most of the drivers haven't even seen anywhere near the top 5 all day.
Try 4 again. That's not going to work.
Nope.
How are they making this work?
I mean, I just don't get it. They should be crashing, but they're not. 5 to go. And Seth Knoll desperately trying to break the draft to 28. And Beckner got kicked out to the side. Connor Horn and Beckner, they have come together before. 3 abreast into the tunnel turn.
Ooh, Berger Doring with Connor Horn. Horn was loose in turn 1. He almost wrecked it. He had to back out and was able to save it. He got pretty much stuck in the middle here. He's got Matthew Bell behind. Matheson, a big dive to his inside as well, 3 wide.
And Matheson trying to work his way through. I mean, pick a lane and stay in it. I mean, this is just as chaotic as it's been. 4 laps to go, and Seth Knoll is breaking away from Drew Jua.
Looks all orderly from a distance, doesn't it? Get down to the nitty-gritty, and it is crazy midfield right now. 4 laps to go.
Wow, Beckner, a massive dive for him, trying to take advantage of the fresher rubber. Might kill his run off the corner, but he's still making some big moves.
Oh, there they go. Big crash. Exited turn 1.
Oh, and it's the big one. It's the big one.
Oh, that's a big mess.
The track is basically blocked. Multiple cars involved, and we're going into overtime, Kyle.
Cart's still flying.
Oh, look, confetti.
And big drivers involved in this. 73, 41, 42. Big crash lap, 77 of 80. Let us have a look at it.
It happened. Just took 3 laps for it to happen.
It was right around where the 8 is. And Connor Horn gets turned, so they were pinching 3 wide.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah, that wall is I think we definitely demonstratively proved that wall is in a horrible place because I think we saw. I think that might have been Matthew Morton.
I've been
Peyton
saying that for
Howell.
years. I've been saying that for years about this place, but you could see Bell just pinches up on corner exit with Connor Horn, Andrew Payne, kind of nowhere for the 42 to go. He's a rock in a hard place, and then just bad timing there, and the rest is history.
Yeah, it was the 15 of Okrezik, Finian, that hit that wall earlier in the night.
Yeah, and then Peyton Howell right here. Look at that. He hits the wall and then comes flying back on the racetrack as well, and he, I think, collects another driver or two.
Oh, the 30 right in the middle of it all.
Tyler Nichols in the 41 as well.
Ooh,
Look at Garrett Grant in the 5, who's already involved in an accident earlier. Think he gets through this one.
That's got to be a heck of it on board. Let's have a look at the 5. It's going to be Armageddon here in a second. Wow.
Wow. Took something out of cars.
Oh, and he got... Who was that?
Right at the Blaze McKinney.
Oh, Blaze.
We want to see another gun on board Jackson Anderson after this.
Oh, he was through it. He just throttled back up and just...
he should have really kept slowing down after that.
No, that'll frustrate the 5, I'm sure. You said the...
Max Anderson in the 83.
And where is he on the
21st at the moment?
Thank you. He's 19th. Okay, here we go.
Woohoo! Found the right hole and on he went. Oh, this would be a great camera.
I think they crashed maybe pretty late in the corner, so it might be just beyond this.
Started it.
What a mess. Jeremy Miller, really the centerpiece of a lot of the action there. And look at that mess. Look at how high the bumpers are flying.
Yeah, really testing the new damage model with that wreck.
Say.
Yeah, Jeremy Miller, another unlucky day for him. We talked about him. He needed luck and more consistent finishes. He's had the speed, especially this season, but finished 21st at Daytona, 37th at Texas. Then looks like he might end up retiring again. Stuck in 33rd at the moment.
So we're in our overtime scenario here. This is, I mean, I guess they've saved enough fuel, I'm sure, at this point that we should be okay, even those that have 38 laps on their tank. Rujua up into position. Adam Cabot third. JT Poole, Philip Groner, and Travis Beckner up into 6th.
Yeah, Beckner's kind of concerning me because he's been throwing the car Hail Mary, and it's been working for the most part. And I actually want to check where he restarted at on the last run. He took the restart in 19th and drove up to 16th in about 2 laps. Sorry, up to 6th in about 2 laps.
Wow, 19th to 16th in 2 laps. What a drive.
What a wheelman that is.
All right, we got 1 to green here. Seth Knoll, Drew Jua going to be this front row. Seth takes the inside. He's been so aggressive into turn 1. Cabot's right there as well, one of the last surviving 609 cars after a handful of them got taken out in that last wreck. Connor Horn was one of them. He's back on the racetrack, although that car has seen better days. 30, I think, is, well, he's still rolling too, but that's even worse. And Bailey Turner.
Yeah, very expensive day for 609 Motorsports.
Yeah. I would be really interested if there was simulated payouts and you had to buy chassis.
There used to be, I forgot the name. It's called, I think, RP. I think it was Race Points Manager. You actually...
I remember that program. It worked around 2003 as well.
Oh, really? That's probably what it was developed. Yeah. Okay, I guess it makes sense. Probably developed for that. But yeah, you had to do that. You had to buy chassis. Anytime there's a wreck, you had to pay for the damages, and you had team finances, and you had to buy like a team, buy a separate car if you wanted to have more cars. It was like a whole thing. I remember it actually being pretty cool. I don't know if it's still even usable. It's still up.
I think it'd be really interesting to see drivers have to be a bit more conservative.
They had to pay for their own cars.
Yeah.
Going at your paycheck.
Yeah. Well, let's try it again. First green-white checkered of 3 opportunities. Seth Knoll is your race leader here at Pocono. The tricky triangle has had some devious things up its 3 different sleeves. Green flag, and we're back underway.
A bunch of drivers shifting lanes on the restart immediately, and look at them already finding out. Oh boy. Already trying to square out what they're going to do heading down into turn 1.
Yeah, 3 wide, 4 wide towards the back, but it's all Seth Knoll up front. Juju and Adam Cabot trying to get up there as the field tries to navigate itself down the backstretch.
All we got to do is get back around to the start-finish line. 3 abreast there. Travis Beckner
Well,
up to
wide.
4th.
4 wide there. There's the 9 Bondurant, Berger, Morton, and Anderson. Heading through the tunnel turn. Berger's caught the apron. He's going to slow things up, but they're still good out of turn 2.
Travis Beckner going to look for 3rd on JT Poole. His best bet would be another caution because they could re-rack and restack him, Kyle, but I don't know if that's going to be the case.
Here they come out of turn 3. White flag is waving. Will we get to it? Yes, we will. The last 2.5 miles of Pocono in round 3 of the Area Cup Series. Seth Knoll, Drew Jua, they lead the way as the field storms down towards turn 1.
Does Jua have anything left in the tank trying to catch up to the 1? He's all by himself. Seth Knoll threw it a little bit hard into turn 1. Jua, slightly better exit.
Crash! JT Poole's turned around in front of the field. Another massive wreck is going to occur. Drivers scatter everywhere as they head to the tunnel turn for the final time.
17's out into the tunnel turn. Drew Jua is close. Matheson just walled it, trying to keep momentum going. The 13 car is going to have a run into turn 3. He's going to have to take a lunge. Here he goes to the bottom. Just a couple hundred yards away, Finian.
Goes to take a look. Can he do it? Here comes the 28 of Beckner.
Here comes Travis Beckner out of turn 3. Is it enough? They bang doors across the stripe. Seth Knoll wins it. Jua, Beckner, a 10th apart, less than that even. 65 thousandths. And Seth Knoll wins his 2nd race of the season.
Man, the opportunity was there for Jua. He had the move to the inside. Him and Beckner collided off turn 3, but the 13 wanted to win cleanly. He wanted to win fair and square, and, well, that was the case. Raced him fair, and in the end, Seth Knoll gets the win. Oh, and cars are getting turned, and that's the 3 and the 8.
Yeah, I think there's some feelings going on. I mean, to imagine. Maybe they just weren't paying attention. Oh, no. There's some feelings. Well, Pocono is over. There's Seth Knoll driving around, lots of damaged fenders. I think there's going to be a lot of frustrations from that late race restart. There's still cars spinning now.
Yeah, damaged fenders, damaged feelings, I think, as well.
This is a frustrating place at times.
Well, not for that man.
No, Seth Knoll.
Win number 2 of the season.
Already leading the points. Well, I guess he was tied with Douglas Newbegin.
Yes.
But now he will walk away as the points leader. Douglas Newbegin 7th, by the way. He has just been Mr. Consistency so far. Well, let's have a look.
Jua as well is also going to, I think, benefit a lot from this.
Yeah, let's have a look at our race results for Pocono. Seth Knoll gets it done. Drew Jua, no, not a single Ford in the top 10. I mentioned that earlier, but they weren't able to finish it out either, Finian.
Yeah, I mean, there are not too many of them. I think around only 5 or 6 of them in the field, but yeah, not a great day for them in general. As you look there, Beckner, Matheson, Groner, Phil Groner, again, sneaking another top 5 way. Wasn't really a big factorial race, but came in there at the end. Bell, Newbegin coming somewhat near the end. Hart's a decent rebound for him, considering he was walling around in around the 20s in the middle of the race. Cabot and Jackson Anderson ran out your top 10.
Yeah, Arc went from being outside the top 30 with 10 to go to a top 10 performance. And how about Justin Bondurant? He wrecked a couple of times coming out of turn 2. No yellow for him. Rebounds for 11th. That's a solid run for him. Morton 12th. Ryan Swan even. He wrecked very early on in this race. Recovered nicely for 13th. Schaefer, Howell, top 15. And then the rest is Nichols, Mitchell, Silver, Ed Robertson, and Seth Berger in the top 20.
Yeah, looking down the rest of the order here from 21st down to 30th, Michael Curhan. Ouch, Finian, that'll take away some of your lead, and I won, so maybe I'll creep in a little closer with my pick there. Landon Cardullo there. Of course, you see Connor Horn and Jeremy Miller. Bad luck tonight for the 609 crew late in the stages here. And add to the list the 25 as well, who is down in 23rd. But there's a look at the rest of the order. And let's chat with our third place runner, Travis Beckner. Travis, it was a pretty dramatic run to the checkered flag. You missed out on second place by 65 thousandths of a second, but made it a show at the end. 19th on the penultimate restart, and you come home in third. You got to be probably okay with that, I'd imagine.
Yeah, I'm really happy with that. I was hoping Drew would Dorset there, put him in the wall, because if he would have, I think I had enough room to get him there at the line. That was a nerve-wracking final 2 restarts because I had to start towards the back there, and yeah, I'm really happy with this performance I got tonight.
Yeah, certainly putting things in the right direction here. As you look kind of big picture, he came into the night 10th in the point standings, +9 after Texas last week. Next time we're out, we're going to Charlotte Motor Speedway, of course, and we've got Dover and Sonoma coming up. So of those next handful of races, which one are you looking forward to the most?
I mean, obviously, I'm looking forward to all of them. I enjoy racing in this league. Probably the best league on the service of iRacing at this point in time. But mainly the road courses. Yeah, just mainly the road courses. Uh-oh, somebody's got an ambulance.
Yeah, they won't hear it on OBS, but yeah, live in Chicago. There's ambulances all the time. But Travis, congratulations on a top 5, and we'll see you next time out and when we head to Charlotte next week.
Yep, before I go, I'd like to thank my sponsors, Hendry County Motorsports Park, Ken Kinney for sponsoring the series, Central Mobile Homes, Sheds and Trailers, Loop Technology, Sunny South Raceway, my grandparents, my mom, and my dad, and everybody that ended up watching the race tonight. This was an interesting race to say the least, and y'all taking the time out of your day to come broadcast this.
Appreciate it, Travis, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you.
And coming home in second tonight was Drew Jua. Brings it home just about a 10th off of Seth Knoll. And Drew, you gave it all you had there, but just came up a couple tenths short. What more did you need to beat that number 1?
Yeah, I mean, it all goes back to that long green flag run. I wish it would have went green. I felt like I had saved myself a little bit better than Seth at the end of that race. And we got that yellow, and Seth and I were working together. He was kind enough to give me the top, and it was all about just, fending off fresh tires and all that final GWC. I saw that we had a sizable gap to Travis coming to 1 to go, and I tried making a move inside into turn 3, and I wasn't going to door him for the win. That's not what I'm about. So I want to apologize to Travis. I didn't mean to give him a little bit of door check. We kind of met in the middle there. I was just trying to side draft him because he had a huge run on fresh tires. So, back to back second places. I'll take it. And we're pretty high up in the points going into Charlotte or Dover? I can't remember.
Charlotte next, then Dover after that.
Oh yeah. Okay, well, looking forward to both of those, and back-to-back second place. Like I said, it's a fun race.
A fun one, Drew. Thanks so much, and we'll see you next week.
Yep, thank you guys.
And Seth Knoll picks up his second win of the season, and I have to thank you because I am going to be living good as far as the commentator point standings. You were my pick tonight, Seth, and tonight just ran up front most of the evening in your Solar Flare Racing Toyota. You kicked the race off in 7th, fell only as low as 15th as far as the strategy was concerned, but you just held off that 13 in the closing stages. Take me through your night.
Well, Kyle, I'm happy to end Finney and streak. Yeah, get out of here, Finney. But I mean, with the way this race is, it's just chaos. It's like short track tempers after these races because we're all just mad at each other. I know I walled Ricky early. I doored the hell out of David. I'm sure y'all caught that for the lead. Like, the racing is just horrendously bad. But yeah, I mean, we kind of stayed out of the calamity. Jake Matheson and his group kind of exposed the strategy there late where it's hard to pass. So old tires worked, and that kind of set us up for that last little run, and we were able to hold off Drew for the win.
So big picture here, we've got a long season, but you've already locked yourself into the playoffs. Now you're going to be the top seed in the playoffs. We head to Charlotte next week, and of course Dover. Then we go road racing. Is there anywhere that you feel vulnerable in this next couple rounds?
Don't love Dover in this car. We'll see how that goes. Charlotte, I think I'll be okay. I think I'll probably run around 5th, that normal spot where I run. I could gain a couple spots, lose a couple spots, that normal spot. Sonoma should be fun. Looking forward to that one. Having a nice brawl there. But for now, just run our pace every week and see where the dominoes fall.
Well, the dominoes fell in your favor today. Seth Knoll wins tonight at Pocono after leading 14 of 82 laps in overtime. Seth, thanks for talking. Congratulations, and we'll see you next time.
All right, appreciate you, boys.
Thanks. All right, guys. Fun night at Pocono here. Handful of yellows to kind of mix up the strategy, but Finian, this was the trickiest of triangles this evening.
Yeah, I would definitely say so. A lot of drivers going to be walking out of here happy, and of course a lot of other drivers walking out of here not so happy, and actually trying to see if we can get the points refreshed and updated. There we go. So Seth Knoll leading out of here. No surprise there. 2 wins to his name this season. Philip Groner in second. Douglas Newbicking back only to third. Drew Jewell up to fourth, and Jake Matheson up to fifth is what the top 5 of the standings is looking like, and it's all still very close amongst all 3 of them.
Yeah, phenomenal race from Pocono. I don't understand the disrespect that it gets, but nonetheless, phenomenal job from these guys all night long, Kyle. We saw them go 3 wide, 4 wide at parts of the track you're not supposed to do that in. Most likely results in a wreck, and most times that they get through unscathed. And yeah, gonna have some 1.5 mile racing at Charlotte next week, I should say, for the Cup guys. But got some Pocono action for the trucks tomorrow and for the Pro Series on Thursday.
Yeah, lots to come as we continue Season 6 of the Area iRacing Series. And before we go, one more partner to thank, of course, Rick's Hot Sauce. It was a spicy one tonight. Make sure you head over to rickshotsauce.com for some of the best hot sauces made locally in South Florida. Got that Rookie of the Year battle to keep our eyes on as well. See which driver takes home that $100 prize in the championship. We wrap things up here tonight from SimTV. I've had a very long handful of days and some very long ones to go. Got to do some Pikes Peak voiceover again in the morning. So here we go, boys. In the thick of it right now as the midsummer arrives. We'll see you tomorrow for Truck Series action. I'm Kyle Heyer with Hunter Sleppy and Finney Nakuna, and we'll see you next time.